Tonight, we have got ourselves a fight for the crown of the East Division here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. The Orleans Firebirds here from Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth for a head-to-head battle with the East Division Championship. Not necessarily on the line, but if you win today, things become a lot easier for the Firebirds. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Red Wilson Field, where it's gorgeous. 75 degrees, sunny, not a cloud in the sky. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Sammy Miller, the third member of our crew. You'll hear from her in just a few moments. And Dylan, before we start talking about last night's game, let's clarify how important this game is. YD 23-18-1, a 1-point lead over Orleans, who sits at 23-19 with 2 games to go.
Yes, and this game means everything to the Firebirds. And if YD wins tonight, they'll be clinching the East Division as champions. If the Firebirds also, if they win today over these Red Sox, they can win tomorrow to win the East. Or even if they lose and YD loses, they play at the Gateman in Wareham. Orleans would take the East Division crown, but it all starts with tonight.
All starts with tonight. Orleans took care of business last night, picking up a win up against Harwich. Meanwhile, Dylan getting some help as well from YD, who lost to Chatham. So last night, just going through that, how important was that to keep this fight alive?
It was so important because YD, who has really taken it to the rest of the league this season, you'd think they'd just run over a team like Chatham that sat before yesterday at 12-27-2. That was the exact opposite. The Chatham Anglers are playing spoiler really well here at the end of the season. They take down YD 11-0. They sent Jason Doktorzik to the mound. He did not have his best stuff. Chatham won really big in terms of determining how big this game is.
This game couldn't be any bigger, and it couldn't be any better. The stage is set between the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the East Division playoff at the moment in the Red Sox and the Firebirds. For more on today's big matchup, we head over to the third member of our crew, Sammy Miller.
Thanks, Ian. Even though today is a very important game for the Firebirds and will dictate their playoff seeding, the main message going into today is not focusing on the outcome and instead just worrying about one play at a time. A quote they're sticking by today is from New York Yankee Anthony Rizzo, reading, "Baseball is about controlling the controllable. Focus on the process, stay in the moment, and let go of things beyond your control." Orleans doesn't have control over the outcome and how the seeding will play out, but what they do have control of is every swing they make, every pitch they throw, and every catch they grab. If they're able to stay in the moment and not think too far ahead of themselves, then that is when the success will happen. The moment you worry too much about the outcome, that is when those errors tend to take place, and especially with these Firebirds, who has had their fair share of errors this season, they will need to keep it as clean as possible out here today at Red Wilson Field in order to take down the YD Red Sox. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. Speaking of connections to the New York Yankees, Sean Casey, the current hitting coach of the Bronx Bombers, and his son, Jake Casey, came up. And Dylan, such a huge spot last night in the 9th inning to take that game against Harwich. Walk us through what happened in that walk-off win.
I'll start with the start of the 9th inning after Colin Rothermill, a reliever for Harwich, went 6 1/3 of scoreless baseball, found his changeup and really used it well against the Firebirds. Gave up a 1-out double to Eddie King Jr. down the left field line in the 9th inning. Then it came up to Brandon Stallman. He walked on 4 pitches. Owen Carpellotti, a grounder to first base that Brian Arndt threw to shortstop to get the force out at second for the second out. Dropped the ball, Ali Camarillo did. Bases loaded for Jake Casey. And he did not have a hit to the left side all season long until last night for the win.
Casey's 11th and most important hit of the summer to put Orleans just a point behind YD headed into tonight's matchup from Yarmouth to decide the East Division. Before we talk more about tonight's matchup, we have to thank our pregame sponsor here on the Scorching Start. Siemens Bank is Cape Cod's first community bank. Siemens Bank is proud to support the Firebirds in the special place they hold in the hearts of the Orleans community. Siemens Bank provides our local businesses, families, friends, and nonprofit organizations with the products and services they need with the local and personal service they deserve. Please stop by any of their branches or go to siemensbank.com and see what they can do for you. Siemens Bank, member FDIC, member DIF. Dylan, after that big Jake Casey walk-off, you caught up with him right before the game. How about we see what the Kent State outfielder felt about that game and how important tonight's game is from Red Wilson Field.
Thanks, Ian. Dylan Pescatore here with Jake Casey, outfielder for the Firebirds. Jake, walk-off yesterday. Take me through that ninth inning, a 3-1 count.
Ninth inning, it obviously didn't start with me. It started with Eddie King hitting that double, and then Brannigan walked, and Carpellotti just makes them happen. So I just felt, the team in my back, and I felt that everyone felt that I was going to do it, just because, I don't know, I just felt everyone's energy, felt everyone's positive vibes. So I don't know, I felt really good.
I feel like the word unselfish comes to mind. A 3-1 count that you could easily just jump on a pitch and pull 4 infielders on the right side due to your spray chart and how you hit the ball, but you went the other way. What does that say about you as a hitter?
I don't know, I think it was just a big team at bat trying to literally put a ball in play. And he threw me an outside fastball, and I just hit it where it was pitched and put it down the line, so it was good.
The position players for these Firebirds have been pretty constant. No, not a lot of leaving and coming back for this team. It's not been a revolving door like other teams have been. You guys have really grown together as a unit. And every single game this season, it's been someone else stepping up. Your game was last night, along with the Falmouth game earlier in the season. What does that say about the team?
I don't know. We all believe in each other. We all know that everyone can change the game with one swing of the bat. And, whether or not it's, one guy or another, we all know that, 1 or 2 guys are going to step up every game. And most of the time this year they have. So it's been good.
4 games above 500 for the first time this season for the Firebirds. To take on YD, needing a win today to get the 1 seed. The biggest game of the regular season in the Cape Cod Baseball League. What does that say?
I don't know. I just think that we're going to approach this game like every other game this year and not let the moment get too big and just play our game. And we obviously know what's at stake here, but we can't look at it like that. And I think that we're going to do a good job and we're going to go out today and play good baseball.
The saying around the team and a lot of players is you have to stay even-keeled in baseball. You can't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low. How have you approached that this season? I've
just been trying to keep a positive mindset. And, obviously I haven't had the greatest summer, but, being around these guys, being around all the guys and coaches and everything has just helped me to just keep propelling myself forward. And whether or not I have a good game or a bad game, and just always keep a positive mindset. And whether or not I'm playing or not, just be a good teammate all the time. So that's what's helped me.
The team has grown really close, and as we go along in the season, the Firebirds with a win yesterday, 2 more games in the playoffs. I know you guys want a long way to go in the playoffs, but let's say the season did end in a couple days. What do these guys mean to you?
Everything. These guys are my best friends in the whole world right now, and the reason why, you look at all summer leagues, everyone wants to go home, everyone wants to go see their families, but honestly, I don't want to leave here. I don't think anyone else here wants to leave because these guys are the best, and they're all just really cool guys, and they'll have friendships for the rest of my life with them.
Friendships for the rest of your life. Jake Casey, the walk-off winner yesterday. Thank you so much for joining the Scorching Start. Back to you, Ian.
Back on the Birds Broadcast Network, that was Kent State outfielder Jake Casey with Dylan right before the game. This game between Yarmouth-Dennis so close to starting, 7 minutes away from Red Wilson Field. It's a tight group, Dylan, and a lineup that's producing as good as it has all season long. Who is the 1 through 9 for Kelly Nicholson tonight?
Let's go through it. A little bit of a change from last night, but not a lot. You always start with Joe Oyama, the usual, leading off, playing second base. Fenwick Trimble batting second, playing right field tonight. Jack Penny in the 3 spot. Matt Hallback in the 4 spot. Penny at short, Hallback at first. Eddie Micheletti at DH tonight, batting 5th. Eddie King batting 6th, playing center field. Brandon Salmon bats 7th, playing third base. Henry Hunter, the catcher, bats 8th. And Jake Casey, back in the lineup after the big night last night, plays left field and bats 9th.
Those guys will go up against one of the biggest names in all of college baseball, currently in the transfer portal after 2 years at Stanford, the all-Pac-12 performer, making his first start of the summer in his second summer with Yarmouth-Dennis, Braden Montgomery. We'll tell you more about Montgomery in this matchup when we come back after the national anthem here from Red Wilson Field, just minutes away between Orleans and YD, with so much at stake for the East Division crown.
Of our national anthem. And please welcome to Red Wilson Field, Amy Marie. Amy is a professional vocalist from Dennisport who regularly performs with her bands Just Like That, Amy and the Soul Stealers, or with her acoustic partner at many Cape Cod and South Shore venues. You can also find her behind the counter of Dark Horse Beef and Deli located inside of Ring Brothers Marketplace, which she probably owns and operates with her husband. Most of her free time is spent in the gym and working on improvement projects in their 200-year-old home, as well as enjoying the scenic beauty of our little piece of paradise from the back of her horse, Charlie. Amy will be at the Huntersport Stroll this Wednesday from 5 to 8 in front of Shorebird Interiors with her duo Duel with Amy and Mike, and Friday at the Clean Anger and Dennisport starting at 9. The next Just Like That full band show will be on Saturday the 12th at Sundancers in West Dennis. Fans, please welcome Amy Marie.
Ready for first pitch from Red Wilson Field. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Let's tell you about the 1 through 9 for Orleans if you didn't hear it just a few moments ago on the scorching start. Joe Oyama leads off at second. Fenwick Trimble bats second in right. Jack Penny batting third, playing short. Matt Hallback bats cleanup, playing first. Eddie Micheletti Jr. doing the DHing, batting fifth. Eddie King Jr., the center fielder, batting sixth. Brandon Stallman, the third baseman, who bats seventh. Batting eighth is the catcher, Henry Hunter, and batting ninth, the walk-off hero of last night, left fielder Jake Casey. Meanwhile, the lineup tonight for YD, at least defensively, is led by the two-way star from Stanford, currently in the transfer portal. The sixth, Skylar King, making his Cape League debut from West Virginia in left. R.J. Austin from Vanderbilt is in center field. And another all-star in the Cape League, Enzo Apodaca, currently in the transfer portal after spending 2 years at Gonzaga, is in right field. All white for YD tonight with blue lettering, white caps with navy blue brims on them. Orleans, it's the black vest jerseys with the white lettering, the red trim, the red undershirts, the white pants, and the black helmets. Dylan, we've been waiting for a game like this all year long. Game number 43.
This is the biggest game of the season. We'll probably say it tomorrow too, but the biggest game, East Division on the line. What team shows up? What team plays better today? That's the question.
Joe Oyama, the left-handed bat from UC Irvine, headed into his senior year, faces the right-handed Braden Montgomery, whose first pitch misses upstairs 1-0. Montgomery, his third appearance on the summer, his first start, and his second year with the Red Sox. He's thrown 2 scoreless frames. His 1-0 pitch in the upper third for a called strike. A ball and a strike to Oyama. Joe Labella behind the dish tonight. Ryan DeMare, the umpire, at first. Jeff Merzel at third. Scoreless in the top of the first. The 1-1. Misses low for ball 2. Oyama had 2 balls and a strike. the third highest batting average in the league, the reigning Cape Cod Baseball League Player of the Week. The 2-1. Misses high, ball 3. Montgomery also DHing tonight for YD. Batting third in the lineup for Scott Pickler. Behind in the count, 3-1. He fires away. Oyama fouls off his pitch. High to the backstop. And the count is full. An early battle between two of the biggest names and stars in the Cape League.
Oyama's doing a good job of having a battle with Montgomery. He's not going to go long tonight, most likely, but drive up his pitch count. Get him out quicker than usual.
The payoff gets Oyama out looking. Montgomery lands a pitch on the inside corner. A 6-pitch battle, and it ends with a backwards K.
That was a strong fastball on the inside corner to the lefty. Oyama, he thought it was inside. The umpire didn't think so for out number 1.
Montgomery with over 40 strikeouts and just around 30 innings pitched across 2 seasons with Stanford. His first strikeout of the night. He deals to Fenwick Trimble and gets a piece of him. Trimble is plunked on his left shoulder. The right-handed batter sees one pitch and trots over to first base.
You never want to see someone get hit, but Trimble, who seems to be quite all right, will take first. The base runner for the Firebirds. A good start here in Yarmouth after, Ian, they did not have a good start last time we were here.
They did not, but a game that ultimately YD pulled out, scoring 10 runs on the game. Orleans had 10 hits in that game, did not score a single run. First pitch to Jack Penny, the left-handed batter, in for a strike with a fastball, 0-1. Penny, the rising junior from Notre Dame, an all-star starter at third base this year in the East Division, but starting at short tonight for the 9th time in a row. The 0-1, swung through it and missed, 0-2. Runner on first is Trimble, the only base runner on, after he was plunked on the first pitch he saw. 1 out, still 0-0 top 1 between the number 1 and number 2 teams in the East Division. Montgomery set the 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. A 3-pitch K for Montgomery. Dylan, this is what we expected. A flamethrower who has confidence in his stuff. His 2 outs, both via the K.
He's going to use that fastball, mid to high 90s, clocking in right around 94, 95. Montgomery, he's not easy to face. He also has a slider along with a changeup.
Trimble off first. Matt Hallback, the right-handed batter from UC San Diego at the plate. He takes a ball that misses upstairs, 1-0. Hallback, somebody who can get an offense going regardless of the situation because of how much contact he's generated on the air, hitting upwards of .330 this summer. Montgomery set his 1-0 pitch. In for a strike to even the count, a ball and a strike.
Montgomery's fastball looks firm coming out of his hand, even here in the first inning and the early parts of this game.
Known at the collegiate level for what he's done from the plate over his 2 years at Stanford. Still developing on the mound. His 1-1. In for a strike on the upper half, 1-2. He continues to impress here in his first summer start. Ahead in the count, 1-2. Trimble off first with 2 outs. 0-0 top 1. The 1-2 pitch, check swing, and the bat got a piece of a ball. Stays 1-2.
You know, high velocity can always scare some lineups, but a phrase that's out there is the faster it comes in, the faster it goes out. You don't have to swing harder. You have to be early and on time for the fastball.
The 6'3", 215-pound Hallback awaits for 1-2 and takes it for ball 2. A low miss from Montgomery that evens the count. Certainly a ballpark that Orleans can take advantage of a fast pitch from Montgomery that could be driven into the outfield. Red Wilson Field with the shortest dimensions of any ballpark in the Cape Cod Baseball League. 1 on, 2 out. Still 0-0 top first. Montgomery's 2-2. Fouled away. A good at-bat to start this game from Joe Oyama. It ended in a backwards K. Matt Hallback putting up a fight.
When you're facing a guy like Montgomery with high velocity with the fastball, you're sitting fastball no matter what the count is, and then adjusting to the off speed, whether it be the changeup or the slider.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Up in the air, shallow right field. Austin under it, and he cannot make the play. Trimble to third, and reaching safely at first is Hallback. R.J. Austin, not a usual center fielder for this YD team, usually an infielder, and the play not made. That would have ended the inning.
It was a nice swing by Hallback to the right center field gap. Austin, the wind took it a little bit out of his reach. He had a good read on it, just couldn't get there in time, and the Firebirds are set up now.
Eddie Micheletti comes up to the plate with runners on the corners and 2 out. After the 2-out single from Matt Hallback, the first hit for Orleans. The lefty faces the righty Montgomery. Here's the pitch. Misses upstairs 1-0. This is exactly what Orleans wanted to do early in this game, Dylan. Put base runners on and try to limit how long Montgomery can go tonight.
Exactly. Upcoming will be pitch number 17.
Pitch number 17 misses low. And Micheletti, who's always got a great eye, gets ahead 2-0 in the count.
Micheletti's the exact type of guy you want against Montgomery. Someone who could hit high velocity, but also not chase.
Just finished up his junior season at George Washington. And on the 2-0, he swings through it. Still ahead in the count, 2-1. 2 base runners on. Fenwick Trimble wearing number 37 tonight instead of his usual number 13. He takes his lead off third. Hallback a few feet off first. 2 away, still 0-0, top 1. Montgomery's 2-1. Swing and a miss. And the count back to even. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Wilmington, Delaware native.
Micheletti late on the fastball. He's going to have to start earlier.
Orleans wants to get this start off right in a game that could decide who wins the East Division. Montgomery, the 2-2. Way high. Ball 3. Full count. The runners will go. First and third, 2 out. Hallback, he singled. He's on first base. Trimble, hit by pitch, off third. Montgomery gets the sign from Stafford. His payoff. Misses inside, ball 4.
And what an at-bat by Eddie Micheletti. From 2-2, where he swung through 2 fastballs, takes a fastball high, takes a fastball inside. Really good at-bats by the Firebirds to start off this one.
The bases are loaded for the hottest hitter in this Firebirds lineup, Eddie King Jr., the rising redshirt sophomore from the University of Louisville. The right-handed bat to face the right-handed Braden Montgomery. Bases juiced, 2 away. The first pitch to him, up and in near the chin of the Illinois native, 1-0.
Montgomery is fastball heavy here in the first. However, he's losing control of it a little bit high. Firebirds cannot chase. Make him come into the zone.
Trimble off third. Hallback off second. Micheletti off first. The pitch gets by the bat of King. Fouled away. 1-1. Old check swing. They got the knob of the bat. King back in the batter's box with his red elbow guard representing his school, Louisville. Hitting well over 400 in the last week. An even count to him, the 1-1. Upstairs, near his lettering in the right-handed batter's box, 2-1.
You can tell from the first pitch tonight, this is a different game. We're getting deep into the season, and the tension is really in the air. This is no game 1 of the season back in June.
This is game 6 of a series in which YD leads 3-2. The 2-1 pitch. Upstairs, it gets by Stafford, and scoring is Trimble standing up. Orleans strikes first in this pivotal game number 43. And it's a wild pitch that does the trick. Moving over to third, Hallback. To second, Micheletti. That was ball 3 to King. He's ahead 3-1 in a count. And it's 1-0 Birds.
We talked about it. The fastball missing high. Montgomery misses a little bit too high. The catcher, Stafford, couldn't jump up to make the play. Ball goes to the backstop, and the Birds have a lead.
1-0 Orleans in the top of the first. The 3-1 pitch. Upstairs, ball 4. Another free pass handed out by Montgomery. That's back-to-back walks issued by the former Stanford Cardinal. He also plunked the second batter he saw, Fenwick Trimble, who just came around the score on his wild pitch. Brandon Stallman to the plate.
And now a mound visit between Stafford and Montgomery on the mound. They want to go over signs. They need a reset. Montgomery's struggling to throw strikes here. Just about even through 27 pitches between strikes and balls.
Montgomery is somebody who's always referred to himself as a batter first. From ages 12 to 16, didn't even pitch. Now on the mound in a critical moment in the Cape Cod Baseball League with the bases loaded and 2 out. His pitch to Stallman, the left-handed batter, misses high, 1-0. Stallman, one of the most recent additions to the Firebirds, a rising senior from UNC Charlotte. After the mound visit from Ryan Stafford, the catcher, Stafford now heads out back to the mound once more, joined by pitching coach John Raiola.
Montgomery clearly isn't right. He's not throwing his off-speed for strikes. His fastball is staying high. He's releasing his fastball early, which is making it go high above the zone and at times to the backstop. Stallman knows this. He just received a changeup on pitch number 1. He's going to wait for Montgomery to throw a strike here, who's clearly reeling.
The bases are loaded. A lot of self-inflicted wounds. Only 1 hit, but Orleans has the bases loaded, scored on a wild pitch. Fenwick Trimble came home after he was hit by a pitch. YD a win away from clinching up the East Division Championship in the regular season. Brandon Stallman ahead 1-0. The mound visit done for John Raiola. Lefty on righty matchup. The 1-0 pitch. In for a strike. A much-needed one from the Mississippi native to even the count 1-1. Hall back off third. He singled into right. Only hit of the game for Orleans. Back-to-back walks for Micheletti on second and King on first. Montgomery puts the ball in his blue glove and deals the 1-1. A miss upstairs. Holding up on the check swing is Stallman. 2-1.
These Firebird at-bats are maybe some of the best of the season, especially considering the starting pitcher on the mound. Now 31 pitches for Montgomery.
Orleans staying patient, letting him do the work. The 2-1 misses way high. A good gloved ball from Stafford. Reached up towards his left and snagged it. That could have been another run scored. 3-1 to count. Hall back off third. Micheletti off second. King off first. 1-0 Orleans, top 1. Scored off a wild pitch from Montgomery, who, as Dylan said, already over 30 pitches for the former Stanford two-way. His 3-1 misses low in the dirt, ball 4, and that's a forced-in run. Matt Hallback touches home plate. An RBI walk for Brandon Stallman. 3 straight walks for an Orleans team that walked the second least on the year headed into today. But the game plan is paying off.
They're seeing Montgomery continuously miss with the fastball. He can't find the fastball, and the all-speeds aren't working either. I'm not sure where Montgomery goes from here. He has to find the fastball to be effective.
The base is still loaded. 2 out, 2-0 Orleans. The first pitch to the catcher, Henry Hunter. Once again, a miss upstairs. Hunter just finished up his sophomore season at Alabama Birmingham, transferring to the University of Georgia next year. Waves the left-handed bat over his left shoulder. 1-0 in the count. Here's the pitch. Misses high, ball 2. When he's missing, it's been up for the most part. Micheletti off third, King off second, Stallman off first. All of them walked. Stallman just drove in a run off a walk. It's 2-0 Orleans in the top of the first with 2 away. Montgomery kick steals for 2-0 and misses high upstairs, but this time around Micheletti does not take off from third base. Stafford jumped on it.
Micheletti didn't seem like he got a good read on that pitch that went high and to the backstop. But then again, Montgomery can't find the zone, so no need to take a risk.
It's 3-0, and Montgomery is a ball away from walking in his second straight run and handing out his 4th straight walk. Bases loaded, 2 out. The 3-0 pitch misses high, gets out of a glove of Stafford. The run scores. It's 3-0 Orleans. Eddie Micheletti jogs into an excited Orleans dugout on the right side of the field. Henry Hunter takes first, Brandon Stallman is second, Eddie King Jr. to third.
I mean, at some point, you got to look at Montgomery and say maybe this isn't working right now. Already one mound visit. Another one would mean that he would get pulled out of the game. They already have an arm loose. It's warming on in the bullpen. A lefty reliever.
Jake Casey, the hero of last night's game, with an RBI single to walk off the Harwich Mariners from Eldridge, which scored Eddie King. Back in the batter's box with bottom man in the order. The lefty faces Montgomery, and his first pitch misses high. There's a throwback to third, and Eddie King is safe. Slides in head first, and despite the tag from Xander Darby, is safe to the dismay of everybody in the YD dugout. 1-0, another ball thrown by Montgomery. Casey ahead in the count.
If I'm the Firebirds, I'm barely even taking a lead off the bases. Make sure Montgomery can throw a strike before anything even happens.
Bases loaded, 2 out. The 1-0 pitch, up and away. 2-0. Dylan Braden Montgomery, such a talented player. Going to be such an asset for whoever grabs him in the transfer portal. Arguably the best player in the transfer portal in college baseball right now. But he just does not have it on the mound. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch. Another miss, up and away. Ball 3. Montgomery is a ball away from forcing in his 3rd straight run and making it 4-0 Orleans. King off 3rd, Stallman off 2nd, Hunter off 1st. Montgomery's 3-0. A strike just on the upper part of his zone. Montgomery potentially gets a bit of a break behind the dish from Labella. He needed that strike called. Casey still ahead 3-1. He circles the bat around his body and puts it back up over his left shoulder, right behind his head. The 3-1 pitch, also up in the zone, also a strike. The count full. Three straight free passes handed out. The runners will go on the pitch. 2 outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Already 3-0 Orleans in the top of the 1st. The payoff in for strike 3 looking. A really difficult first inning for Braden Montgomery. Nearly imploded, but kept it a 3-run game after handing out 4 straight walks. He strikes out Jake Casey to end the frame. 3-0 Orleans. We go to the bottom of the 1st on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 3rd. Thanks so much for joining us from Red Wilson Field. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Dylan, the debut done for East Carolina's Jaden Winter after 2 innings. He gives up 1 run and ultimately does his job.
He did a really good job, Jaden Winter did. Along with a strikeout, no walks, 1 run allowed on those 3 hits. He could have got out of that first inning, too. A ball that went in and out of the glove of Joe Oyama, possibly a double play. Ended up in right field, and YD gets 1, but now a new pitcher on for the Firebirds.
It is the 6'2", 215-pound man from Rice, a right-handed pitcher originally from Revere, Massachusetts, an in-state native, Mauricio Rodriguez. It's his 3rd appearance, all of them out of a bullpen. So far, he has pitched 2 2/3 for Orleans, gave up an earned run in his last appearance, a 5-4 loss to the Chatham Anglers on July 28th from Veterans Field. Gave up a run off 2 walks and no hits. Back to the top of the order for YD, it starts with Vanderbilt's R.J. Austin, who singled and came around the score in the first. Rodriguez's pitch misses low, 1-0.
Rodriguez, who has pitched against these Red Sox before in his debut 9 days ago, went 1 scoreless inning in an 8-2 loss.
An 8-2 loss on a Sunday against YD. Orleans then lost, I believe, a week ago today to these Red Sox, 5-0 from Eldridge Park. A rough 2-game stretch. The 1-1 from Rodriguez gets the whiff from Austin. He goes behind 1-2. Ever since that second loss to YD, though, this Firebirds team has been different. They've won 5 of their last 6, including last night's 2-1 walk-off of Harwich. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 in the dirt. Austin has some words with Joe Labella and is tagged from behind by Henry Hunter as he heads back to the dugout. 1 up, 1 down, and a strikeout for Mauricio Rodriguez.
Great job by Rodriguez. Buried the breaking ball in the dirt at 83 miles per hour. It's a good start against the top of this order.
He now faces Ryan Stafford, the catcher who struck out in the first inning. Righty on righty, a low miss, 1-0. Rodriguez, a journeyman. He spent time at multiple spots, including Calhoun Community College in Alabama, Georgetown, and Rice University in Houston, Texas. His 1-0 pitch skipped in front of home plate in the dirt, backed up by Henry Hunter for ball 2. Stafford gets ahead. Nobody on 1 out. It's 3-1 Orleans in the bottom of the 3rd. Neither team has scored in the last 1.5 innings. Rodriguez, the 2-0, is launched into right field. On his horse's Fenwick Trimble, he cannot make the play. It dribbles towards the wall. Stafford in the second, standing up. The first extra base hit for either team today. It's a 1-out double in the bottom of the 3rd from the catcher.
A good swing by Stafford on a fastball that was just left down the middle on the lower part of the zone. He goes to right center, and either outfielder, King or Trimble, if they're not getting it, no one can get it with how good they are defensively. Stafford at second now with 3 and 4 coming up for YD.
Just the second double for Stafford on the year, with the dangerous Braden Montgomery at the plate. The lefty to face the righty Rodriguez. Well, he's a lefty on this at-bat, a switch hitter. He swings and misses at the first offering and goes behind 0-1. He singled in the first inning. Right after that, Hunter Hines drove in the only run of a ball game for YD. R.J. Austin scored. Runner on second, 1 out. The 0-1. Misses outside, and the Mississippi native evens it up, a ball and a strike. Montgomery did not have a great start on the mound, but from the plate, he has been one of YD's best, hitting over 311 games headed into tonight's matchup in his second summer here with the Red Sox. The 1-1 is launched to left field, racing toward it, and not able to make the play. Dropping the ball in left field is Jay Casey. Coming around the score is Ryan Stafford. He makes it 3-2 Orleans. In the second, standing up is Braden Montgomery. Already the 5th hit for YD. A laser down the left field line from Montgomery, trying to put away that tough start on the mound by doing everything he can from the plate.
And he does just that. Another bloop hit, this time into left field. Jay Casey overruns it, which allowed Montgomery to take second.
Montgomery 2 for 2 on the game. 5 hits in his last 3 games. And 3 runs driven in. Hunter Hines drove in a run in the first inning. And the lefty launches one behind Rodriguez on the mound, and it bounces off second base into the outfield. Montgomery scores. That's another RBI for Hunter Hines. This game is tied at 3 in the bottom of the third. A ground ball from Hunter Hines made its way not only off the mound, but it hit second base, and Jack Penny couldn't make the play as it went high in the sky and then dropped right in front of Eddie King in center field. An unlucky break for Orleans. YD with 2 run-scoring singles. Here in the bottom of the third is tied the game up at 3, and Xander Darby at the plate. The lefty against the righty Rodriguez. The pitch fouled away behind the backstop, 0-1 to the man from UC Santa Barbara. Dylan, yes, nothing you can do there.
Ground ball that Penny would have thrown to first to get Hines for the second out. But it hits the bag, and everything's going YD's way right now.
Hines, 43 runs driven in on the summer. That leads the Cape Cod Baseball League. Rodriguez v 0-1. It misses up and away to Darby. Somebody who's gotten hot at the right time for Scott Pickler's team, hitting just under 290 on the year with 3 homers and 15 runs driven in. A ball and a strike in the count. Rodriguez lets it fly and misses low for ball 2. Darby ahead, 2 balls and a strike.
Another arm already warming for the Firebirds, and Ryan Reeses, the lefty,
who also pitched in that game 8 days ago, a 5-0 loss for Orleans against YD. 2 balls and a strike. Rodriguez trying to get back ahead in the count. He can't. He misses low once more, and the count 3-1 to Darby. 2 innings with 1 run ball in his Cape Cod Baseball League debut for Jaden Winter. Mauricio Rodriguez out of a bullpen got the first out, struck out R.J. Austin, but has since given up a double to Stafford and back-to-back singles. His pitch misses low, ball 4. A 5-pitch, 1-out walk for Xander Darby. 4 base runners reach in a row for a YD offense trying to take its first lead of the game. Tied at 3 in the bottom of the third. Henry Hunter, the catcher, heads to the mound to have a word with Mauricio Rodriguez.
Yeah, Mauricio Rodriguez, a strikeout of R.J. Austin to start his outing, but then Stafford crushed a double, a blooping single, which turned into a double by Braden Montgomery. Hines hit a ground ball up the middle that hits the bag, and then you walk Darby. So not exactly the luckiest outing so far for Rodriguez, but he has to get these last 2 outs. YD has all the momentum right now.
A YD team that suffered a devastating loss last night on the road against Chatham, trying to clinch the East Division regular season championship tonight with a win. 2 runners on, 1 out. Here's the pitch to Enzo Apodaca. Swing and a miss from the left-handed batter. He goes behind 0-1. Apodaca ended the first inning for YD. He popped out to short. Hines on second. He drove in a run with a single. Darby on first after his walk. Rodriguez the 0-1 offering. Breaking ball in for a strike up in the zone. Apodaca behind 0-2.
A great backdoor slider there from Rodriguez. Catches the outside corner.
In search of his second out of the inning. YD with 3 hits on the inning and 6 on the game. The 0-2 pitch. Misses outside. Ball 1. Apodaca still behind 1-2. The 5'9", 185-pound rising junior. A former top 10 outfielder coming out of the state of Arizona. And a great player in 2 years with Gonzaga in the WCC. The 1-2 is launched on the ground and in and out of a glove of Matt Hallback in foul territory. He flips to Rodriguez at first, and he got to the bag in time. Runners move over to second and third. Matt Hallback, who initially lost the ball along the first base line, stayed composed and got it to a covering Rodriguez for out number 2.
Hallback so comfortable over there at first base. He gathers the ball, which eventually went into foul territory. He had to pick it up, toss to a running Rodriguez, who stepped on the base for out number 2. A big one, especially if they can get this last out.
Runners on second and third, 2 away. Ryan Jackson at the plate, righty on righty. The pitch. In for a strike on the inside part of the plate, 0-1. Runner on third is Hines. His RBI single tied the game at 3. Darby on second, he walked. Rodriguez the 0-1. Strike 2 taken. Jackson, who leads this Red Sox team in batting average, falls behind 0-2. He flew out to right, hitting it the opposite way his first time up. It was caught in foul territory on a great diving play from Fenwick Trimble. A 1-2-3 inning for Jaden Winter. The 0-2 pitch outside for ball 1. Rodriguez got ahead against Apodaca, 0-2. Retired him on a ground out. Trying to retire Ryan Jackson with runners on second and third in a tied game at 3 in the bottom of the third. Rodriguez's 1-2 is launched, dropping in a right field. Fenwick Trimble's got a beat on it. Towards his right, makes the catch, ends the inning. Trimble retired Jackson in the second. He does so an inning later where the stakes were much higher with runners on second and third. No problem. But the problem is the game is tied. The lead no longer for Orleans. 3-3. We go to the top of the fourth on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What a swing by Fenwick Trimble. Right back up the middle, off his bat at 96 miles per hour for the Firebirds to take the lead here in the fourth.
For Fenwick Trimble, that was his first hit of the summer against YD in 6 games played. One reason or another, has not had success against the Red Sox. He comes up huge in the 6th and final game against them. Jack Penny at the plate with runners on first and second. He swings at the first pitch. Sends a fly to left field. That drops for a hit. Joe Oyama gets the stop sign at third. The base is loaded again for Orleans with 1 out after back-to-back hits. 3 straight hits. Oyama is single to right. He's on third. Fenwick Trimble is single through the middle of the infield. He's on second. He helped drive in a run. Henry Hunter scored. The runner on first, Jack Penny, he drops one in the left to load the bases for Matt Hallback.
Penny bloops it in the left, and honestly, that ball should have been caught by King, the left fielder. He took a first step back, got a horrible read on it. The ball drops in, and now the Firebirds have the bases loaded.
Before a potential game-changing swing, or at least a game-changing at-bat for Matt Hallback, a mound visit. The second of the game for pitching coach Joe Labella in his first conversation with Gavin Bruni. Bruni, Dylan, was cruising through 2 innings, but Orleans has been on time and has been dangerous here in the fourth.
They have, and I think they're meeting right now. Well, of course, because the bases are loaded, but Matt Hallback has had a really good game so far today. 2 for 2, 2 singles, and a run scored as well. They have to be really careful with the righty from UC San Diego because he can make you pay.
Matt Hallback has made so many people pay this summer. He was an all-star in the West Coast League last year with Joe Oyama and the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Trying to bring Oyama home. He's on third, an all-star as well this season alongside Hallback here on the Cape. Fenwick Trimble on second, Jack Penny, another all-star, on first. The bases loaded, 1 out. Mound visit over. Bruni tries to work through traffic in a game that Orleans now leads 4-3 in the top of the fourth. Lefty on righty, here's the pitch. It misses low. Hallback takes for ball 1.
You have to make sure Bruni's throwing strikes, once again, with the bases loaded before you're swinging. Hallback has to be very sophisticated with his approach.
85 pitches for Bruni on the game. 86 lands for a strike on the lower third. 1-1. Bases loaded, 1 out. 4-3 Orleans in the top of the 4th inning. Hall back at the plate. The 1-1 pitch. Another low miss. 2-1. Hall back, already 2 hits on the game. He had the first 2 hits for Orleans through 3 innings. And the Birds have come alive with 3 straight hits in the top of the 4th. The base is loaded because of it. 2 balls and a strike. Pitch on its way to the plate. Hallback rips one to right center field. R.J. Austin towards his left. Lets it drop in front of him. Joe Oyama scores. Fenwick Trimble gets the green light. The throw from Hunter Hines to the dish is in time. Orleans extends the lead 5-3, but also makes the second out of the inning. R.J. Austin, the throw from center field, cut off by the first baseman Hunter Hines, who flicked it towards the dish. Stafford tags out Fenwick Trimble. So Penny on second, and after a run-scoring single, Matt Hallback on first. Second run of the inning for Orleans. The Birds up 5-3.
It was a good send of Trimble, I feel, because he was right behind Oyama. Made an interesting slide, too, almost like a swim move. Eventually called out. Just a play that didn't go the Firebirds' way.
Eddie Micheletti Jr. gets ahead 1-0. A miss outside from Bruni. The lefty on lefty matchup. You got to be aggressive in a game that means so much in terms of the East Division standings. The 1-0 offering. Swing and a miss. Stafford the throw to second. Taking off for third is Penny. He slides in, and he's safe. Another risk taken, and it pays off. Penny swipes the bag. Moves over to third. And now at first, Matt Hallback. That was a ball in the direction of Micheletti. The count is even 1-1. Runners on the corners, 2 out. 5-3 Orleans in the top of the 4th. Stafford steps in front of the plate to give some signs to the infield. And crouches right behind the dish. Bruni sets. Pumps his front leg. And deals the 1-1. Micheletti takes for ball 2. Another miss on the outer half. Ahead in the count, 2-1. Couple of run-scoring singles in the bottom of the 3rd from YD. Couple of run-scoring singles in the top of the 4th from Orleans off the bats of Fenwick Trimble and Matt Hallback to retake the lead 5-3. 2 balls and a strike. Pickoff attempt. And getting back, Matt Hallback.
These are 2 of the best teams in the Cape Cod Baseball League going to battle. And the offenses have come to play so far tonight.
An Orleans offense that has scored 10 or more runs in 4 of its last 5 wins. Micheletti rips one into the corner and left, and it drops on the line. Fair. Jack Penny scores. Stuck in the corner. Matt Hallback is sent home. There is no throw. A 2-run double from Eddie Micheletti. Perfectly hit down the left field line. And Orleans ups the lead 7-3 in the top of the 4th. A 4-run inning from Orleans. In Eddie Micheletti with one of his biggest hits of the summer to make it a 4-run lead.
A pitch that was basically right down the middle. He goes the other way, just keeps it inside the foul line, make it the fair line, and 2-run score. Big hit for Micheletti.
Eddie King Jr. at the plate. Righty on lefty, Bruni deals. A strike, 0-1. And what a response from Orleans, Dylan, to give up the lead in the bottom of the 3rd. Not only to retake it, but to double it with 4 runs in the top of the 4th. That's what this group has done all season. Bruni's 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
This team, very resilient. You have that play at home where Fenwick Trimble's thrown out. A lot of teams would get discouraged. This team did not. They come right back, and they put more on you.
5 hits in this inning. They put a lot on YD. 4 runs to show for it. 7-3 Orleans. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Cracked. over a leaping hand of Hunter Hines at first. Eddie Micheletti gets the send. He's on his way home, and he scores! Let's go, says Eddie Micheletti. He heads back to the dugout. It's 8-3. Orleans after an RBI single from Eddie King Jr.
And now everything going Orleans' way. An inside-out swing by Eddie King. Not hit hard, but hit in the right spot, bringing home another run.
The runs just keep piling on. 5 in the inning, off 6 hits. Brandon Stallman at the plate. And a check-in on the speedy Eddie King Jr., who leads Orleans in stolen bases. Dylan, with such a dangerous lineup that YD has, every run means so much in the middle of this ballgame.
It does. Ian, I talked about resiliency. What are the 2 outs in this inning? It was a robbed home run by R.J. Austin in center field, and then it was a runner thrown out at home in Fenwick Trimble. The Firebirds could have easily just gotten down in the dumps after R.J. Austin makes such a great play. Now that play means nothing. 8-3 Orleans.
Brandon Stallman takes a strike. 0-1. Lefty on lefty. I barely remember that play happened. R.J. Austin with one of the best plays potentially in the Cape Cod Baseball League this summer. It doesn't really mean a whole lot. No.
Not right now.
King off first. No balls in a strike to Stallman. Inside pitch. It got a piece of Stallman. Right off his right elbow. A hit by pitch. Stallman to first. King Jr. to second. The inning that won't end. Orleans has batted around as Henry Hunter comes to the plate after he led off the inning with a walk. But before that, Scott Pickler makes his way to the mound for the first time tonight. Gavin Bruni's night is done. A mound visit and a pitching change for YD in a game that's been flipped on its head in the top of the 4th. 5 runs scored from the Birds to break a 3-3 tie headed into the inning. It's now 8-3 Orleans. We'll tell you who the new arm is when we come right back on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back on the Birds Broadcast Network in the bottom of the 4th. Thanks so much for joining us. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Orleans gave up the lead in the bottom of the 3rd, tied at 3-3, scores 5 runs in the top of the 4th to take the 8-3 advantage. Mauricio Rodriguez on the mound for his 2nd inning, trying to keep it clean. He faces 8, 9, and 1 in the order for YD. It starts with the left fielder, Skylar King. Lefty on righty. Rodriguez misses high and the count even. A ball and a strike to the West Virginia Mountaineer. Popped out to third base his first time up. In his first at bat here on the Cape, he falls behind as he takes strike 2 looking up in the zone. A ball and 2 strikes in the count. Rodriguez working quickly. Here's the 1-2. Chopped down the first base side and foul. It stays 1-2. Dylan, we haven't seen an inning like that from Orleans against this level of competition in a while, and they needed it.
Not in one inning, for sure. I think the offense has had really good days spreading over a few innings, like the Hyannis game a few nights ago, scoring 11 runs. But one inning with 5 runs against top-flight pitching doesn't usually come for any team.
Ground ball to Matt Hall back at first. He calls off Rodriguez and steps on the bag for the first out of the bottom of the 4th. 3 straight outs recorded from Rodriguez after he allowed some trouble and a couple runs to score into the 3rd. Bases clear, 1 out, 8-3 Orleans. Bottom man in the order, San Jose State's Theo Hardy at the plate. The switch hitter batting lefty against the right-hander Rodriguez. His pitch misses inside, 1-0. The 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Rodriguez trying to establish himself as a trusted bullpen option in his 3rd outing of the summer. 1-0, skips in the dirt and gets away from the glove of Hunter behind the plate for ball 2. So much on the line tonight, that 4th inning, so important for Orleans. YD with a win would clinch the East Division crown. The 2-0. Misses low, 3-0. Now, a win for Orleans tonight wouldn't mean clinching the East Division, but it would mean that the Firebirds, heading into the regular game finale, the regular season finale, tomorrow, clinch their own fate and control their own destiny. The 3-0 pitch misses for ball 4. Does not get the call in the inside corner with the 92-mile-an-hour fastball. That's a 1-out walk for Theo Hardy.
You never want to walk anybody with the score being what it was, and especially the 9-hitter. But Rodriguez struck out R.J. Austin last time up.
Austin struck out to start last inning. A 2-run inning for YD. Also singled in the 1st. The first pitch to him, up and in, gets a piece of him. The breaking ball gets away from Rodriguez, just clips Austin. And YD trying to make some noise with runners on 1st and 2nd and 1 out. Henry Hunter, the catcher, goes to the mound, trying to calm down his pitcher. Ryan Stafford comes to the plate. He doubled his last time up. Eventually came around the score off an RBI single from Braden Montgomery. He also scored, driven in by Hunter Hines.
A walk and hit by pitch here. Playing with fire are the Firebirds.
Good one. It's the 3rd free pass handed out by Rodriguez in 1 1/3 innings. 2 runners on, 1 out. Here's the pitch. Misses in the dirt, and a really good job from Henry Hunter to keep it in front of him. Jim Lawler, the 2nd-year pitching coach of the Firebirds, makes his way out of the dugout for the first time tonight. What do you think he has to say for the Rice University man?
I think it's going to be all about throwing pitches in the zone. You can't fool around with a team of this nature like YD. Walks, hit by pitches. You want to make them earn it. And I think that's what's going to be the main message. Make them earn any run they score.
Rodriguez did not start this summer here in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Played in the Valley Baseball League. Had a 4.29 ERA across 8 appearances in 5 starts and pitched 21 innings and only walked 10 batters. Jim Lawler makes his way back to the dugout after his talk with Rodriguez. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Behind an account 1-0 against the catcher Ryan Stafford. The pitch misses low. 2-0. 8 runs off 8 hits for the Firebirds. 5 of those runs and 6 of those hits in the top of the inning. 3 runs off 6 hits for YD. 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch on the way home. Inside for a strike. 2-1. Going more to the off-speed offerings is Rodriguez. Still behind an account against the Cal Polyman. The 2-1. Shows bunt, lays it down fair, the third base side. Brandon Stallman fields and holds on to it. A beautiful bunt from Ryan Stafford. A bunt single that loads the bases with 1 out.
A walk, a hit by pitch, and now a bunt that didn't even get out of the infield. That one was right down the third base line. It looked like it could have been going foul. Stallman picked it up before he could make the turn back, and this is not what you need if you're Orleans.
Braden Montgomery. He's somebody who's given his teams what they have needed. The Stanford Cardinal in particular over the last 2 years. Pitch one from Rodriguez, misses in the dirt. A great job by Hunter behind the plate to allow it to stay in front of him. Bases loaded, 1 out. Theo Hardy walked. He's on third. R.J. Austin hit by a pitch on second. The bunt single from Ryan Stafford has him on first. The 1-0. In the dirt again. Blocked up by Hunter again. 2-0. Montgomery did not have a good night. He started this game on the mound for YD. He gave up 3 runs and walked 4 batters in the first inning. From the plate, it's been a different story. He's 2 for 2, and he drove in a run last frame against Rodriguez. The bases juice and 1 away. Orleans up 8-3. The 2-0. Fouled off. The fastball up in the zone. 2-1.
Walks, hit by pitches, always hurt. But can Rodriguez find his way out of this? A ground ball could do it.
Sets and deals for 2-1. And misses low and away for ball 3. Rodriguez, who allowed 2 runs to score for the Red Sox last inning, a ball away from forcing in a run in the 4th. Bases loaded, 1 out. Orleans leads by 5. Rodriguez is 3-1. Is a strike. High and away, well located on the off-speed pitch to load the count. Montgomery trying to reach for the 3rd time tonight. The all Pac-12 performer with Stanford. Currently in the transfer portal. Everybody wants him, and YD has him. The payoff is launched to right field and caught by Fenwick Trimble. He throws it in. It's cut off by Jack Penny. He holds on to it. A run does score, but that's what you wanted at the end of the day with the bases loaded and 1 out. Theo Hardy scores on the sac fly from Braden Montgomery, who drives in his 2nd run of the game. And Callie Nicholson makes his way to the mound, seemingly to end the day for Mauricio Rodriguez. Firebirds still up 8-4, and Nicholson calls for the bullpen and calls for a lefty with the left-handed Hunter Hines due up. We'll come back with runners on the corners and 2 away. Orleans trying to keep it a 4-run game here on the Birds Broadcast Network. Back from Red Wilson Field after a pitching change in the bottom of the fourth. Thanks so much for joining us. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore on the call. Mauricio Rodriguez out, and Dylan, a very reliable lefty, Ryan Reeses in to face maybe the most powerful left-handed bat in the league in Hunter Hines.
Ian, we've talked about it. Ryan Reeses is trying to audition for the lefty out of the bullpen role for Kelly Nicholson. Who can get lefties out in the opposing team? Well, it's between Reeses and Loomis, the only two lefties in this bullpen, and Reeses has been better. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run. It was on a home run, 8 walks, 9 strikeouts. He says he wants to keep down the walks. Can afford one here with the runners on the corners, but he wants to get the lefty Hines out.
R.J. Austin on third. He was hit by a pitch. Ryan Stafford on first. Got on with a bunt single. Hunter Hines has now driven in 7 runs in his last 4 games, 2 of them tonight. 2 outs. Reeses the pitch. Swung on and fouled away. Behind home plate, 0-1.
The first lefty out of the bullpen for the Firebirds for most of the season was Riley Fry to get out other left-handed batters. Fry, of course, got drafted by the Braves in the 19th round. Reeses trying to make his case for this role.
Orleans with the shift. Jack Penny now playing on the right side of second base. The pitch. In for strike 2 looking. Hunter Hines goes behind 0-2. Reeses lands one just on the outside corner to put the Mississippi State Bulldog behind. Runners on the corners, 2 out. Reeses, the second-year Firebird, with a 1.3 ERA on the summer. His 5th appearance out of a bullpen. His second here from Red Wilson Field. Ahead in the count, 0-2. Against Hunter Hines, the pitch is fouled away. Reeses last pitched on the 29th against Brewster, a 10-6 win from Eldridge Park. Went 2 scoreless out of a bullpen with 3 strikeouts. Austin on third, Stafford on first. An 8-4 game. A run scored off a sac fly from Braden Montgomery that ended Mauricio Rodriguez's outing. The 0-2. Upstairs, Henry Hunter throws back to third. The tag from Brandon Stallman, not in time. Moving over from first to second was the man Ryan Stafford. So runners on second and third now. One big swing from Hines could drive in 2 runs in a game in which YD trails by 4. Reese is still ahead 1-2. Even after the miss with the fastball upstairs. Crouches down, set at the belt, deals the 1-2, swing and a miss! Reeses excited as he gets out of the jam and gets the big lefty on lefty out to keep it 8-4 Firebirds after 4. Over the final 5, the mission remains the same. Win and control your destiny with the East Division on the line going into tomorrow's regular season finale. Dylan takes over on the play-by-play when we come back on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Eight 4, the Firebirds are in front as we head to the top of the 5th. Joe Oyama, the leadoff batter for the Birds. 8-4 the score in favor of Orleans after YD puts one on in the bottom of the 4th. Dylan Pescatore, Ian Nicholas here on the Birds Broadcast Network here at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth. A big battle, a big game between these 2 top teams in the East Division. The first pitch to Oyama is low and in from Armbruster, who continues on after coming in at the end of the 4th inning, walking Henry Hunter and getting Jake Casey to ground out into shallow right field. The righty out of Arizona State. The 1-0 pitch to Oyama is in there for a strike with the changeup. Oyama's day started off with 2 strikeouts, 1 forward, 1 backwards, and then he singled in the 4th inning. Eventually came around to score as well. 1-1 pitch on the ground to second base. Ryan Jackson will throw to first for the first out of the inning.
Orleans, what a half inning it had in the 4th. 11 guys came around to take an at bat. Joe Oyama with a single mixed in. 6 hits, just passing the baton for a lineup that has been as good as it's been all summer long.
It brings up Fenwick Trimble. Had a big hit back in that big 4th inning. The Firebirds scored 5 runs. Swing and a miss at a first pitch fastball from Armbruster. Trimble with an RBI single in that 4th inning was thrown out at the plate for out number 2. Out number 1 was a home run robbery by R.J. Austin. Didn't end up mattering. 0-1 as Trimble squares to bunt. He pulls it back. Ball's low in the dirt. 1-1 the count. 1 out, nobody on, 1 out. Firebirds up 8-4, top 5. Armbruster looking to keep this game where it is and allow his offense to get his team back in it. 1-1, Trimble bunts it foul on the first base line. It banks off the fence right in front of the Orleans dugout where the Bat Boys sit. The wind has died down here from YD. Originally it was blowing in. Now not so much. Trimble down 1-2 in the count with 1 out. Pitches outside from Armbruster.
The at-bats just get better and better as the summer goes on. A long 4th inning. 2 good battles to start this 5th inning.
It's a question. 2-2, fouled back. Of course, both teams want to win every single game. How much do you sacrifice? How many good pitchers do you use on a day like today, while also keeping in mind of the playoffs, starting in just 3 days on Friday night from Eldridge? And for YD, from Red Wilson. Both teams will be hosting playoff series. In the first round, Trimble goes down swinging for out number 2.
That's why today is so important. Both teams already are set to host a first-round playoff series. But if you beat one another tonight, and for Orleans, if you win this game and you win tomorrow against Chatham, you would host a potential East Division final, most likely against YD, a team that's looked very good this year and done very well against the East.
Penny takes the ball low. And we went through the different scenarios as Jack Penny, the lefty, up with 2 outs and nobody on. And the Firebirds need to win out. They need to win today. They need to win tomorrow. They could possibly lose tomorrow, then it's out of their hands. But they love to win today, win tomorrow, and take the number 1 seed. Although some say it doesn't matter, it definitely does matter to these players who try every single game.
And it matters to this coaching staff, too. They know how big home field advantage would be.
2-0 is low. 3-0 now to Penny as it almost clipped his front foot. Home field in the first round is guaranteed for both these teams. But home field in the second round is what we're talking about when it comes to the East Division. And also, these wins matter when we're talking about maybe home field in the championship. 3-0 in for a strike. Katuitt's out of the question, but these 2 teams with 23 wins. Hyannis has 24, Falmouth has 23, and Bourne has 21, the 4 teams from the West.
Those are all teams capable of making a championship run.
3-1 outside. Penny, a 2-out walk against Armbruster, brings up the scorching hot Matt Hallback. 3 for 3 on the day with an RBI and 2 runs.
Matt Hallback has been, it's hard to say, the best bat in this lineup as of late with how Eddie King Jr. has performed and Joe Oyama continues to do his thing. But really over the last month, Hallback has become the player that he was during his sophomore season at UC San Diego.
First pitch, haul back, a chopper back to the pitcher, Armbruster, who makes the throw to first for out number 3. Firebirds leave one on a walk to Penny. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th, 8-4 Orleans. Back here on the Birds Broadcast Network, the Firebirds lead 8-4 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Ryan Reeses back to the mound after collecting the last out of the 4th. Runners on the corners with 2 outs, and he struck out Hunter Hines on a ball in the dirt for out number 3. He faces the lefty Xander Darby out of UC Santa Barbara. And the first pitch is on the ground to first. Will it say fair? It doesn't. Just a few inches on the foul line side of first base. Hallback picks it up and tosses it back into the dugout. Darby heads over to his dugout. He believes that he broke his bat. So he gets a new one. He'll rub it up with some sticky stuff so he doesn't let go of the bat. We've seen that a few times this season, Ian.
No, we're not at Doran Park. That's a regular occurrence, at least whenever they play the Firebirds. But from Red Wilson Field and from any field, the wood bats have their impact.
So Darby down 0-1 in the count against Reeses. Also, thankfully, we have a fence in front of us, so we're not at stake here. We're not in danger. The 0-1 at Darby has popped up foul, third base side, and out of play into the parking lot behind Red Wilson, who now owns the second latest start time in the Cape Cod Baseball League at 4:30. Brewster moved up from 5 to 4. They now start almost at the crack of dawn, it feels like. 0-2, the pitch to Darby, fastball, cold, strike 3. Reeses ended the 4th with a strikeout. He starts the 5th with another strikeout. This time it's backwards.
You mentioned the trust that Kelly Nicholson probably has in the left-handed arm of Ryan Reeses. A perfect situation for him to dominate. Faced the lefty last inning in Hunter Hines, struck him out, strikes Darby out, another lefty, one more to go, and Enzo Apodaca.
The first pitch to Apodaca is outside. It'll be the lefty Apodaca and then the righty Ryan Jackson after him. Birds up 4, 8-4. Here in the bottom of the 5th. The 1-0 pitch, line drive into the glove of Matt Hallback. He was standing right along the line. Hallback bends down to a knee, makes the catch for out number 2.
Some Wenatchee Applesock on Wenatchee Applesock crime. Matt Hallback and Joe Oyama share the same infield here in Orleans, but those two were also summer ball teammates with Apodaca last summer in Wenatchee. And a great play for Matt Hallback, who's been so good at first this summer.
Brings up Ryan Jackson. Reeses has gone 3 up, 3 down to start his outing. Now with 2 outs and nobody on, Jackson takes a ball outside. Reeses has provided length as well out of the bullpen for the Firebirds. Going 2 1/3 against these Red Sox in a 5-0 loss back just 8 days ago. 1-0 pitch is in there for a strike. Reeses, who sets at the belt, kicks and fires the 1-1. It's low for ball 2. Reeses bends down and bends his knees. Gets the sign from Hunter. Kicks his leg and deals low once again. 3-1 to Jackson. Reeses has been really good. He's also been very strong out of the bullpen for the Firebirds this season in 7 innings coming into today, now above 8. Allowing a couple hits, but the walks have plagued him a little bit. 3-1, Stafford, or check that, Jackson swings at a ball in the dirt, 3-2 with 2 outs. He's mentioned that he feels good out there and he's getting the results, but he wants to be more efficient and he wants to limit the walks.
Did walk 23 batters during his junior season at UC San Diego in 31 innings pitched.
The full count pitch on the ground to second. The throw from Oyama to Hallback in time. 1-2-3, 5th inning for Ryan Reeses out of the bullpen. 4 up, 4 down for the lefty out of UCSD. We'll head to the 6th. Firebirds up 8-4.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. I'm Sammy Miller. The Firebirds are up 8-4, heading to the top of the 6th. Before the game, I spoke to catcher Owen Carpellotti, who has been here since day 1, and he said they are confident that they have all the necessary pieces to get it done today and the rest of the season. He has been hungry to put a ring on that finger since he got here, and that desire is just getting stronger as the playoffs approach. With the departure of Derek Clark and Connor Eaton, the Firebirds have added some new arms to the pen, and Owen is happy that he's in the bullpen today to first off get to know these guys, as well as start to get an understanding of how they pitch and certain tendencies that they have. Easily one of the hardest parts of summer ball is the revolving door of different pitchers these catchers have to catch for. Both Henry and Owen love the challenge and believes that it pushes them as athletes. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. And that's a great point because at college, you know the 10 to 15 pitchers that you have to catch on a normal basis. Here, you could catch someone on Monday, they could be gone on Wednesday, and a new arm in by Thursday. It's happened over and over in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Eddie Micheletti is the first batter here in the top of the 6th for the Firebirds. He takes low from Will Armbruster, who's back in for another inning. After a 1-2-3-4 5th, including a walk to Jack Penny, he fires a strike to Micheletti 1-1.
Those two have been so good this summer, Carpellotti and Hunter. I know they've had their ups and downs offensively, but defensively they've both been really good.
1-1 on the ground to second, fielding it at his side is Jackson, and the throw is in time to beat Micheletti by 2 steps for out number 1.
Both those guys have been really good leaders, too. You need to have a good personality. People have to like you if you play the catcher position, and especially with that revolving door that Sammy said. Both those guys very easy to get along with and to work alongside on the field.
Eddie King Jr., the right-handed bat out of Louisville, comes to the plate against Armbruster. A good day for King so far. A walk in the 1st and an RBI single in the 4th. Bordered a strikeout in the 3rd. So 1 for 2 day for King with an RBI. The 1-0 to the righty is in there for a strike. Armbruster, who came in at the end of the 4th inning, now pitching here in the 6th, looking to give YD some length. The 1-1 fouled away to the backstop.
King continues to have a dominant stretch. 7 hits in his last 8 days, or rather I should say he's got a hit in 7 of his last 8 games. Another RBI. Putting the ball everywhere, both sides of the field with such great power.
1-2 A line drive over the head of the shortstop, Hardy. He makes the catch on the run into shallow left field. Theo Hardy backpedaled, put his head down, reached up his glove, and made the catch in front of the left fielder, Skylar King, for out number 2.
Some really good defensive plays from YD. A couple innings ago, it was R.J. Austin in center field robbing a home run, and that one robbing a base hit of Eddie King.
After 6 runs combined from both teams in the 4th, zeros in the 5th, and the Firebirds having 2 outs already here in the top of the 6th. Stallman takes a first pitch strike. The left-handed hitter out of UNC Charlotte has reached base twice tonight without a hit. A 1 fouled back. A walk that forced in a run in the first. Got him in pretty easy RBI. Didn't have to do much to collect that. And then a hit by pitch in the 4th. YD has 3 infielders on the right side of second base against Stallman, the pull hitter from the left side. 0-2 the count against Armbruster. The pitch outside for a ball. The shortstop, Hardy, stays on the left side. The third baseman, Darby, goes to the right. 1-2, pulled over the head of Armbruster, but right to the second baseman. Throw on to first is in time. That was Darby playing on the right side, right where the second baseman usually plays. So that goes down as a 5-3, even those to the right side of the infield. Armbruster goes 1-2-3 in the 6th, and the score stays at 8-4 as we go to the bottom of the frame. Back here in the bottom of the 6th on the Birds Broadcast Network. And the man who's went 4 up, 4 down, Ryan Reeses, back to the mound for another inning of work. He'll face Skylar King, the 8-hitter, the 9-hitter Theo Hardy, and then back to the top in R.J. Austin. Ian, after a offensive onslaught in the first 4.5, or really 4 innings of this game, Ryan Reeses has done a really good job out of the bullpen.
4 straight outs. You can't ask for much more. He's done so with confidence. Got the big out of Hunter Hines with 2 runners on in the 4th. It was great last inning.
Lefty Skylar King looks to bunt. He pops it up foul over the backstop for strike 1. King in his first game here in Yarmouth. A late arrival to say the least, playing his first game in game 43 of the season. 0 for 2 on the day with a fly out to third and a ground out to first. Tries to bunt again, a push bunt on the 0-1 count. Hallback picks it up. Does he tag him? No. King slides into first base head first safely. The lefty King push bunted it down the first base line. Reeses and Hallback were in the same area. Hallback picked it up, could not get back to the bag before the lefty and the speedy King got there first. So a leadoff bunt single for YD here in the 6th.
Welcome to ID. Welcome to the Cape, Skylar King. His first hit in the Cape Cod Baseball League. in a gritty one. One that his team needs to put a leadoff base runner aboard down 4.
It brings up the switch hitter Theo Hardy, who bats from the right side against the lefty Rhesus, who fires high for ball 1. The first base runner to reach for YD against Rhesus, and the first hit against Rhesus as well. That's pretty self-explanatory. King on first, out of West Virginia. An outfielder. The 1-0, just a little bit low around the ankles of Hardy. 2-0 with nobody out against the 9-hitter.
King Hardy, only 8 hits on the summer, but 6 of them have come in the last 4 games with a couple 3-hit performances, including last night.
Getting hot at the right time. 2-0 in there for a strike. A positive that YD has taken out of last night, the 11-0 loss, was some of their 5-9, 6-9 hitters in their order having big nights. Even though other things went wrong, the 2-1's low, good block. Henry Hunter gets down to a knee, keeps it in front, and the ball bounces right back in front of home plate, keeping the runner King at first. Count 3-1. Nobody out. Orleans up 8-4. YD threatening. Rhesus kicks and fires a 3-1 off the knob of the bat of Hardy. And foul. 3-2. Full count. Runner on first in King. Rhesus looks toward home and fires a 3-2 pitch. It's pop foul toward the first base side and out of play.
Hardy trying to come up in a big spot here. This game's still within reach. Ryan Rhesus not going to let it get away from Orleans with the way he's pitched. Squeaking out a hit to start the inning, King.
Do the full count pitch again to Hardy. Rhesus fires. Hard ground ball to third. On to second for 1. On to first. Double play. 5-4-3. And the Birds turn 2 here in the 6th.
Ryan Rhesus. What an audition he's had. A late acquisition to this Firebirds team and one of the best midseason ads. He's worked through traffic all summer long, and most of the time he's come out unscathed because he gets the timely strikeout or a timely ground ball that turns into a little bit more.
First pitch to R.J. Austin is just a little bit inside. It was a ball off the bat of Theo Hardy at 82 miles per hour to the third baseman Stallman, who fielded it, threw it to second base where Oyama threw it to Hallback to turn 2 and get Hardy by a step. 1-0 is low in the dirt. 2-0 to the righty Austin, who's had an interesting day. A single to start off in the first and came around to score. The only run for YD in that first inning. Also was hit by a pitch and also struck out. Made a few defensive gems in the outfield as well. 2-0, popped up foul, third base side and out of play. The righty out of Vanderbilt has been incredible for this YD team. In just under 100 at-bats, hitting .323 with a homer and 13 RBIs. Rhesus also has a hit against, or R.J. Austin has a hit against Rhesus this season. Back when they faced 8 days ago, 2-1 is low.
Austin has lived up to the billing. An all-SEC freshman team selection at second base. He's going to be one of the best players on Vandy over the next 2 years.
Rhesus falls behind. The 3-1 pitch inside. A walk to Austin, who tosses his bat down and reaches first. With 2 outs and Orleans up 8-4, it brings up Ryan Stafford.
Stafford's had a good game. Struck out in the first, but ever since doubled in the third. And similar to Skylar King, who started this inning with a bunt single, reached on a bunt single of his own in the fourth.
The shadows now covering the mound and home plate. First pitch to Stafford. He went around, called strike anyway. On a curveball by Rhesus at 79 miles per hour. YD has left 6 runners on in the first 5 innings. In danger of leaving another. With Austin on first, and the 0-1 count, Reeses will toss over to Hallback. Those two teammates at college at UC San Diego. Hallback was here just about 4 games into the season, and Reeses has come on and come into Orleans for his second summer here. Austin looked to take off. He took a spill. He got lucky because Austin was going to go to second base. Now he comes up and has to walk it out a little bit.
Just unfortunate as he is leaning down past first base and he's going to get checked in on by first base coach Cam Trudel. Looks like he's all right. He makes his way back to the bag. Could have been a lot worse, and you got to be counting your lucky stars. RJ Austin so talented, and he catches a break there, like you said.
Austin took off and immediately went down. Pitch was fouled off. 0-2 the count to Stafford, with Reeses ahead against the righty out of Cal Poly. 1 pitch away from tossing another scoreless inning. He'll throw over to first once more. Stafford with a double in the third and a single in the fourth. 2 for 3 on the day. Reeses has 6 outs, looking for the magic number 7. The 0-2 pitch on the ground into right field. Austin turns second. He'll go to third. Picked up by Eddie King and tossed back in. The Firebirds were in the shift as Oyama was closer to second base. The second baseman, Oyama. And to third goes Austin. Runners on the corners. And Braden Montgomery comes to the plate with 2 outs and YD down 8-4.
If there's anybody who knows how good Ryan Stafford is, it's Oyama, it's Reeses, and it's Hallback. Back-to-back all Big West team selections over his first 2 years at Cal Poly. He gets it done, beats the shift, and sets up Braden Montgomery in a huge spot.
Montgomery from the right side for the first time tonight with runners on the corners and 2 outs. First pitch from Reeses is high and away for a ball 1 at 88 miles per hour. Reeses came into this game in the 4th inning with runners on the corners against Hunter Hines. He struck out Hines and got out of that jam. Can he do it again here against Montgomery? The 1-0 popped up and out of play. Goes over the concession stand on the first base line. And the kids go running after it. The 100th year of Cape Cod baseball. It just gets better and better, as this will be the biggest game of the regular season. And it is. 1-1, a swing and a miss at 90. Reeses turns it up and is ahead 1-2 in the count.
Montgomery, such a good player, but a strikeout rate over 25% in each of his first 2 collegiate years at Stanford.
Runners on first and third, 2 outs. The 1-2 pitch outside. Hunter throws down as the runner goes. It's late. Stafford is safe at second. Austin stays at third as Oyama kept it in front of him. 2-2 the count with 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position. Second stolen base for Ryan Stafford tonight. Home plate umpire Joe Labella will call time as Montgomery finds his footing in the box. Runners on second and third, 2 outs. YD down 8-4 to Orleans in the bottom of the 6th. Reeses peers in at the sign. He shakes his head once. Now nods as he gets the pitch he wants. 2-2 against Braden Montgomery. The pitch fouled away.
Montgomery's not going to relent. Reeses is going to continue to attack. Montgomery's delivered multiple times today, early on in this game, after putting his team behind in the first inning. He wants to get this team out of a deficit.
Montgomery 2 for 2 on the day. Austin a big lead at third. The 2-2 pitch is high at 91. Reeses got it as high as he's gotten it so far in terms of velocity on the fastball. Full count, 2 outs. And 2 on. Austin at third, and Reeses is back, turned to him as a lefty. Reeses comes set, the 3-2 pitch, in there for strike 3 called. He goes to the curveball and locks up Montgomery for a big strikeout. He leaves 2 on, and the score stays 8-4 Firebirds as we go to the 7th. Broadcast Network, the Firebirds lead 8-4 over the YD Red Sox. They'll bring up 8-9-1 in their order. Henry Hunter, Jake Casey, and Joe Oyama. And Will Armbruster on for another inning of work after Ryan Reeses shut it down in the 6th. Runners on the corners and 2 outs. He struck out Braden Montgomery looking for out number 3. Armbruster fires low and in to Henry Hunter for ball 1. Armbruster came in the 4th. Pitched 2 1/3 and gets Hunter swinging on the changeup.
Ryan Reeses cannot understate how big he has been in the middle of this ball game.
1-1, the pitch to Hunter. It bounces in for a ball.
To get the outs not only of Hunter Hines when he was inserted in the middle of a jam, but then to strike out Braden Montgomery looking. Those are 2 of the best players in college baseball. Ryan Reeses got through him no problem.
2-1 from the righty. Armbruster is high and outside. Hunter up 3-1 in the count. He's had a pretty interesting day. 3 at-bats, 3 walks. He's 1 pitch away from securing his 4th walk of the day. Armbruster kicks and fires. High and outside. 4 walks for Henry Hunter in 4 at-bats.
The on-base percentage through the roof for Henry Hunter. He'll take it. You know, you're going to look at the box score from this game. You're not necessarily going to look towards Henry Hunter first, but he has set the tone with a leadoff walk 3 times in this game, and in all 3 innings, Orleans cashed in.
Hunter on first. The batter is Jake Casey, the lefty out of Kent State. He takes a strike on the outside corner at 88 from Armbruster. The fastball that's right there. High 80s, low 90s from the righty out of Arizona State. The rising graduate student. The 0-1 to Casey swung on and missed. A pitch that fell off the table and Casey swung over it. 0-2 with Hunter on first base. Nobody out, and the Birds up 8-4. Armbruster takes a look over, now throws over, and dug out of the dirt by Hunter Hines, or else that ball would have gotten away, and Hunter could have taken second or even maybe third.
A lot of alliteration over there at first base.
0-2, Casey on the ground to second. Jackson to the shortstop and on to first. Safe is Casey. Hardy's throw not in time. Henry Hunter forced out at second, and Casey reaches on a fielder's choice with one out. Up comes Joe Oyama.
And although it has not been the most dominant summer for Casey, came up in a big spot last night against Harwich to win the game with a walk-off and just does things the right way. Running at 100 miles an hour, trying to beat it out, and he does to avoid a double play.
A big hit for Casey yesterday. And also, Ian, that speed helps him in the outfield, too. Joe Oyama, the batter, the lefty, up for his 5th time today. Fouls off the first pitch from Armbruster on the third base side, and at a play, Oyama's 1 for 4.
Great to see another dominant offensive night from Orleans, in which you love to see Joe Oyama doing what he's done. Top 5, top 10 in the league in so many offensive categories, but it's been a relatively quiet night for him, and the team has still scored 8 runs.
A 1 fouled back. Oyama's strikeouts have grown a little bit if we're making any sort of knowledgeable statement about why Oyama is struggling relative to how he started this summer, if that makes any sense. Oyama's been so good that when he's not going 3 for 4, it's almost a surprise at this point. The 0-2 pitch to Oyama is high and away.
And last night he goes 0 for 3, and you think that the sky is falling just compared to what he had done in the previous 4 games where he had multiple hits in 3 of them. That's just Joe Oyama for you. The expectation's so high.
Armbruster up 1-2 on the count on Oyama with Casey on first. The 1-2 slapped foul to the third base side from the lefty. A packed day here at Merrill Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth. Packed behind the plate on the third base side. Yarmouth-Dennis fans on the first base side. A lot of Firebird fans. Only about a 25-minute drive from Orleans. The 1-2 pitch from Armbruster, just a little bit outside. Oyama takes it for ball 2.
Another good at bat from Oyama. You mentioned the strikeouts. Struck out twice to start this game, but good at bats almost every single time.
2-2 pitch, outside again. Oyama runs the count full. Casey's on first after hitting to a fielder's choice. Hunter reached on a leadoff walk here in the top of the 7th. Birds up 8-4 on YD. Armbruster looks at first. Now comes set at the belt. Takes a few looks over. The 3-2 pitch on the ground to second. Can they turn it this time? Jackson to Hardy on to first, not in time. The out at second recorded for the second out. Oyama at first. 2 outs, and Fenwick Trimble is the batter for the Firebirds.
Deja vu. Exactly how YD got the first out of the inning. Ground ball to second. Failed to turn for double play. Jake Casey beat it out at first, and Joe Oyama does the exact same thing, and Casey forced out at second. Frustrating, but putting the ball in play, always a formula for success. Force the other team to make the play.
First pitch to Trimble is in there for a strike with the fastball at 90 miles per hour. Trimble with a hit by pitch in the first, came around to score on a wild pitch to lead off this game. Get the scoring started. 1 of 12 runs already scored today. 8 in favor of Orleans. 0-1 on the ground to short. Hardy will go the short way to second. Jackson at second to make the catch and force out Oyama for out number 3. Let's stretch here in Yarmouth. 8-4 Orleans as they look to close it out against YD. We've stretched. We're ready for the final 2.5 here in Yarmouth. 8-4 Orleans leads. Ryan Reeses back to the mound for another inning after 2 1/3 of scoreless baseball against YD. He'll face the batter that he started his outing against, Hunter Hines. They faced in the 4th, and Reeses struck him out on a ball in the dirt. The lefty Reeses deals a fastball outside to Hines, who started his day off with 2 singles back-to-back, including one to drive in a run in the 1st, struck out in the 4th, 2 for 3 coming in. 1-0 pitch inside. Hines jackknifes out of the way for ball 2.
Confidence for Reeses has to be at an all-time high. Struck out one of the national finalists for Player of the Year in Hunter Hines, and struck out Braden Montgomery last inning.
2-0 was low. Almost clipped the feet of Hunter Hines. 3-0 now with nobody out. The matchups also favor Reeses here, him being a lefty, and the next 3 batters, including Hines for YD, also batting from the left side. In Xander Darby and Enzo Apodaca. The 3-0 dropped by Hunter, but still in the zone for a strike. 3-1.
It is one of the most loaded orders in the Cape League. A top 4 offense in the league headed into tonight.
3-1. Smacked foul, first base line. And the count is full. Reeses looking to battle back against the most feared, the most powerful left-handed hitter in the Cape Cod Baseball League. He takes a breath, now puts his left foot on the rubber. Kicks and deals the payoff pitch high and inside to Hines. Gets out of the way and he walks. A leadoff walk here in the 7th. It's not how you want to start an inning, especially up 4. Reeses allows Hines to reach.
A good at bat for Hines after going down swinging with 2 base runners on in a 4th against Reeses. Nicholson stays in the dugout. You mentioned the matchup game. Darby, another tough out, but another lefty against Reeses.
Reeses struck him out in the 5th. Did Darby. First pitch, the lefty is fouled away. Hines is on first. Reeses, that's his 2nd walk in 2 1/3 innings of work. The lefty Darby out of UC Santa Barbara with his blue cleats and a ball that runs high, 1-1.
Representing the Gauchos here on the Cape. So many UC schools, so much Big West out on the field right now. A conference on the rise.
1-1 pitch to Darby is put in the air to shallow center. The shortstop Penny backpedaling. In comes Eddie King. He'll make the catch. The center fielder for the Firebirds secures out number 1.
That's what you want to see from Eddie King. But the way he's swinging the bat, he's going to be the everyday center fielder of his team in the playoffs. It's his 8th consecutive start in center field. That is his ball. He's got the range to go anywhere he wants. And although Jack Penny could have caught that, Eddie King is taking leadership out there.
Enzo Apodaca, the left-handed hitter, into the box, takes the ball just high. A curveball by Reeses that stays up. 1-0 to the lefty Apodaca. On first is Hines after he led off the inning with a walk. Reeses takes a look over, now fires to the plate. 1-0 is inside for a ball. Apodaca, who stands very close to home plate, had to turn his back and get out of the way. A look at first, the 2-0 pitch. Fastball in there for a strike at 86.
Reeses getting the call in the outside corner. That strike call he needed.
1 out. Firebirds up 8-4, bottom 7. The 2-1, another fastball in there for a strike. Over the outside part of the plate to the lefty Apodaca. The Birds one ground ball away from a double play to turn it and get out of this 7th inning. 2-2 the count. Popped up behind third into shallow left. In comes Casey. He calls for it. He catches it about 5 steps in front of the infield dirt. Jake Casey was positioned in shallow left field, and it pays off for the Firebirds. He makes out number 2.
Really good snag from Casey. Makes it look easy. We talked about his speed when he beat out that ground ball in the top of the inning. You said it was an asset in the outfield. He showed it there again. You've got 3+ athletes, I'd say, in the outfield right now. And Casey, King, and Trimble, who made a great play in foul territory early on in this game.
First pitch to the righty is a check swing. He went around in Ryan Jackson. Out of USC, Jackson's been on a hot streak, but not today. 0 for 3. Coming into this at-bat, he has hits in 9 of his last 10. Rhesus fires the 0-1. It's low and blocked up by Hunter perfectly. The breaking ball that went into the dirt, he blocked it right back onto home plate.
Yeah, that diving catch from Trimble, it was against Jackson. 0 for 3, but can get hot at any time. Hit 290 in the spring at USC.
The runner on first. The 1-1 pitch is high. Hunter looked to bring it down. He couldn't get the call from Labella, the home plate umpire. Shade is covering the infield, but not the outfield. Right, left, and center all covered by the sun. 2-1 the pitch to Jackson. Broken bat into foul territory and out of the hands of any defense. It goes into the YD bullpen that's located along the third base line. A lefty arm warming up for the Red Sox as they look to keep this game closer. Ryan Rhesus, 1 pitch away from getting out of this jam as Ryan Jackson broke his bat. He'll have to get a new one, and he does from the dugout.
I know you've mentioned the shade a couple times. The sun going to set at 7:58 tonight. That's 56 minutes away. I know it's not something really to think about, but there's still a lot of baseball to play.
And the sun could have a factor. We've already had some weather issues here in YD. The 2-2 pitch from Rhesus is low, full count with 2 outs, which will unlock Hines. He'll be going on the pitch. The first game here from YD of the 3. This is number 3. The first game was deemed the Fog game. Fog all around as the Firebirds won 5-4 and 10. The full count pitch to Jackson, a fastball that's fouled along the first base line and out of play.
That was probably the craziest, most fulfilling game of the year for the Firebirds all the way back on June 25th. Sean Madsen, excellence out of a bullpen. Jack Penny's big home run in the 8th inning. And a big win as Orleans now, over a month later, trying to split the season series.
Full count, 2 outs. The pitch to Jackson is high. And the second walk of the inning for Rhesus. 2 on, 2 outs. And this game has been about YD putting runners on. They can't bring any home. They've left 8 on in 6 innings. And up comes the lefty, Skylar King.
And the one thing that has hurt Rhesus, and what outside of that has been a great outing so far, has been the walks. He's walked 2 in this inning, including Hines, who's on second. Walked a man last inning as well.
Up comes King, who bunted for a hit last time up in the 6th. First pitch is a strike on the outside corner at 88. Rhesus's pitch count is the furthest he's went so far this summer. The next pitch will be pitch number 63. He's collected 9 outs. 2 on, both by the walk. Hines on second and Jackson on first. The 0-1 to King, who lays another bunt down. It's perfect down the third base line, and Rhesus can't do anything about it. Skylar King, call him the bunt king. Another great bunt down the third base line. Bases loaded for YD with 2 outs as Rhesus kicks some dirt on the mound. Unlucky. Up comes Theo Hardy, the switch hitter from the right side. Bases juice for YD with 2 outs.
Rhesus can't allow that to frustrate him. I know it is frustrating because there's nothing you can do to defend a good bunt. Just good situational hitting from King at a big moment. Trust your stuff. Get out the bottom man in the order.
YD one swing away from tying this game if Theo Hardy left the park. First pitch in the air and foul. First base line, right near the concession stand. Hardy, who has only 8 hits on the summer and 48 plate appearances.
Only 2 home runs in the spring with San Jose State.
Not a threat, but still can do some damage here for YD. Down 4. 0-1, the count. The pitch fouled near the YD dugout off the fencing. 0-2, and Reeses is 1 pitch away. Reeses left 2 on in the 4th. He pitched a 1-2-3 inning in the 5th. He left 2 on in the 6th after he struck out Brandon Montgomery with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Now bases loaded. 0-2 the count against Theo Hardy. Reeses kicks and deals. Fouled away. Kicked it up to 90 miles per hour, but Hardy got a piece of it at the top of the zone.
Reeses giving everything he has, despite pitching with so much run support. You mentioned it. They've clogged the base paths, and he's denied them every time.
Gets the sign from Hunter after a few shakes of the head. He'll look at 3rd at Hines. On 2nd, Jackson. On 1st is King. 0-2 the count to Hardy. The pitch. Swing and a miss! Another big strikeout for Ryan Reeses. Leaves the bases loaded here in the 7th. 8-4, still the score as the Firebirds get out of another jam in Yarmouth. 8-4 as we go to the 8th. Back here in the 8th inning, YD with a new arm on the mound. It's one of their best. Landon Beitelshees, the lefty out of Ohio State. The rising sophomore from the left side faces Jack Penny, the lefty out of Notre Dame. First pitch here in the top of the 8th. The Firebirds lead 8-4. The pitch is low for a ball against Penny. He's had a good day today. 1 for 3 with a walk as well and a run scored. 1-0, a slider in there for a strike from Beitelshees, and his numbers are really good this summer.
Oh, and it's because his fastball is faster than it's ever been. I mean, an average of 91 miles an hour. It's gotten up to 95 this summer. A changeup that drops off to 80 in the mid-80s roughly, and then a slider too at 80 to 85. A 41 strikeout to walk ratio.
1-1 was inside. 2-1. Put a charge into right center field. Penny gets it to fall. He'll think about 2. He heads back to first. A leadoff single for Jack Penny against Landon Beitelshees to start off the 8th.
kind of funny that this is the first time Beitelshees and Orleans have squared off. He's been a day one guy, their best pitcher all summer long, and in the first time in a 6-game set, Orleans sees Beitelshees, and Penny rips about as good a single you can hit, 90 miles an hour, into a right center field gap.
Beitelshees, a bullpen arm all the way through. A strike fired to Matt Hallback, who thought about laying down a bunt. He pulls it back. The third baseman, Darby, doesn't believe him. He still plays deep at third base. Penny on first. Nobody out. 0-1 pitch is low. Beitelshees has been in the bullpen all the way through and has provided a lot of length. 2 innings has been his shortest outing this summer with YD. It's gone all the way up to 5 innings. 1-1, Hallback into left center field. It will get down for a base hit. Back-to-back singles here in the 8th for the Firebirds. Penny and Hallback reach, nobody out, and up comes Eddie Micheletti.
Orleans headed into the inning, didn't have a single hit since the 4th, and all of a sudden reemerges against one of the best pitchers on the Cape in Beitelshees. Ryan Reeses kept this game where it was, did his job, and now the offense trying to do its job in supporting him and supporting the entirety of a bullpen with a potential knockout punch.
Darby in at third, expecting the bunt. No square from Micheletti. Fastball was low at 91 from Beitelshees. 2.9 ERA in 21 2/3 innings, including 31 strikeouts. After that single by Hallback, 10 hits for both teams tonight. 1-0 in the air to right center field and deep. Back at the track, at the wall. It's off the wall. Around third goes Penny. He's coming to the plate. To third goes Hallback. Penny scores. An RBI double by Eddie Micheletti puts the Birds up 9-4 in the 8th. A hit that went to the right center field wall. R.J. Austin couldn't do it for a second time as it went off the fence, and in came Jack Penny. To second goes Micheletti. To third goes Hallback. Beitelshees will now face Eddie King with the infield in for YD. They're down 5 in the top of the 8th, and the Firebirds have 2 in scoring position with nobody out. First pitch to King from the lefty Beitelshees at 94 in for a strike.
There's that fastball getting up to the mid-90s. Hasn't aided him yet. Does Eddie King have one more big hit in him to hit double-digit runs on the game for Orleans and potentially put it out of reach?
0-1 from Beitelshees on the ground to short. Misplayed by Hardy, but he makes the throw to first. Bobbled at first, but gets King. For out number 1, runners stay where they are, and the batter will be Brandon Stallman. Ball was hit hard at 90 miles per hour by King, but Hardy stayed with it, threw to first for the out. Micheletti, the runner at second, with 3 RBIs tonight and a walk, 2 runs scored. The first pitch to the lefty Stallman at the bottom of the zone for a strike. YD still with their infield in. They're going to cut off any more runs for Orleans. They're already up 9-4. And another fastball smacks the mid of Stafford at 92. Now 11 hits for Orleans after Micheletti's double. The 0-2 pitch. Stallman goes the other way into left. In comes King. He makes the catch. Hallback thinks about tagging. The throw comes in quickly. He'll head back to third. A line out for Stallman. Good swing, good contact, but the result doesn't come as King makes the catch.
Some defensive changes for YD. It seems R.J. Austin has been subbed out potentially after that play at first base that had him a little shaken up. It's now Will Hardy in center field. Jackson has slid over from second to short, and Dub Gleed comes in off the bench and takes over at second base. Hardy in center, Gleed at second, Jackson at short.
Gonna have to keep an eye on that. Throw back to third. Hallback dives in safely after a first pitch ball to Henry Hunter. Hunter has had, like I said, an interesting day. I'm not sure how to put it. 4 at-bats and 4 walks. He's up now for the 5th time against the lefty Landon Beitelschieß. Hunter fouls it away. The catcher, Stafford, has a beat on it, and he misses it. Stafford was running toward the wall near the YD on deck circle and straight up flubbed it. The ball landed in fair territory in terms of not out of bounds, in foul territory. Could have been an out. Hunter gets another chance at it.
Stafford, a really good catcher behind the plate. You're not all conference in the Big West. If you're not, he's going to be thinking about that one if a run comes across the board.
On third is Hallback. On second is Micheletti as Hunter fouls it back. 1-2, 2 outs against the lefty Beitelschieß, whose inning started out disastrous. 2 singles and a double. Micheletti drove in a run. Ever since, a ground out and a line out. The 1-2 pitch to Hunter is high.
Another good at bat from Hunter. Fouling away pitches he doesn't like.
Dub Gleed at second. Hines still at first and Jackson at short. Keeping Micheletti close to second. All back at third with a dirty uniform already. The 2-2, Hunter fouls it away. 93 from Beitelschieß from the left side.
Gleed playing all the way in the outfield, grass and right. Hunter Hines playing pretty close to the outfield as well. A weak ground at a right would do the trick.
2 outs, 2-2 the count. The pitch is popped up foul and out of play.
Hunter just smiling. It's a good battle against one of the best the Cape League has had to offer.
A game that everyone was looking forward to. The Firebirds come out swinging, and they're still swinging. Up 9-4. The 2-2 pitch. Hunter to Hines. Over his head in fair territory. In comes Hallback. The throw gets away. Hallback's going to come home. Micheletti in for run number 11. Hunter moves to second base. A blooper over the head of Hunter Hines. 2 more in for Orleans. 11-4 the score here in the top of the 8th.
How does that happen? Hines was playing right near the outfield grass. It goes right over his head, and it stays fair. What a game for Henry Hunter. He's going to take second as well after all of that commotion. And an extra run comes across the board. Landon Beitelschieß faces the Firebirds for the first time. It does not go well. It doesn't even last a full inning. And the Firebirds are on cloud 9.
11-4 Birds. YD going to the bullpen here in the top of the 8th. We'll be right back. Here in the 8th, the Firebirds having an offensive explosion, scoring upwards of 10 runs for the 5th time in the last 6 games, up 11-4 on YD. In the 8th, already 3 runs across here in the inning. Jake Casey, the batter, with 2 outs against the new pitcher for YD, Connor O'Hara, the righty out of Florida Gulf Coast. Casey swings and misses at a slider in the dirt for strike 1. Henry Hunter with a single just over the glove of Hunter Hines behind first base, brought in a 1 run in Hallback, and then the throw got away to home, and Eddie Micheletti came in to score for run number 11. On second is Hunter. He moved up on the throw. 2 outs, and Casey 1-1 in the count against the righty O'Hara.
Orleans saw a lot of O'Hara late in the month of June. Pitched over 6 innings in 2 appearances against the Firebirds.
The 1-1 count. Casey a swing and a miss on a pitch low in the zone.
Month of July has not been as kind to O'Hara. Now it's August. Hopefully things can change for him. He's given up 7 earned runs in his last 5 innings on the mound to bring his ERA up to just under 5 on the summer.
1-2, 2 outs. It's low. Eight innings to bat for the Firebirds. They've scored in only 3 of them, and I say only because they've scored 11 runs, but 3 in the first, 5 in the 4th, and now 3 here in the 8th. 2-2s outside, full count. And how many times have we said full count today? The at-bats by the Firebirds are as good as they've ever been.
So much patience and confidence in their trust in the zone and their approach. You know, O'Hara was dominating against his team when he saw him in June. It's a whole new team now.
Full count pitch. It's low, and Casey walks. Joe Oyama will come up. That is walk number 9 for the YD pitching staff today. On first is Casey, on second is Hunter, and Joe Oyama will come to bat.
And when I say this is a whole new team, I don't mean personnel-wise. 8 of the 9 guys in the lineup tonight were on the Firebirds when O'Hara went 4 innings against his team and shut him out on June 25th, and then went 2 2/3 of 1-run ball against them 5 days later. But their approach has changed so much.
First pitch to Oyama, swing and a miss in the dirt. And almost every one of these guys, 1 through 9, have been here since day 1, day 3 or 4 maybe. Hallback and Oyama came in a little bit later. But a lot of these guys have been here since day 1 and have fought their way through. I think that's a real reason why the Firebirds are having success. The consistency where there's not, a revolving door as Oyama checks his swing 1-1.
Kelly Nicholson built a team that was going to compete for the long haul. A group that hopefully would gel together well, fight for each other, and support each other, and stick around long enough to reap the benefits. And so far the answer's been yes.
1-1, 2 outs to Oyama. It's low. It gets away from the catcher Stafford, and the runners will move up. Hunter goes to third. To second goes Casey, and the count 2-1 against Oyama.
Has not been the cleanest day behind the plate for Stafford. He hasn't been an easy job for him either. It's a thankless position, and Orleans an opportunity to really make things ugly with one big swing.
Well, Ian, remember the Henry Hunter at bat with 2 outs. Stafford could have collected the 3rd out and ended the inning. Now 2 more runs across after a RBI single from Henry Hunter. 2-1 fouled away. Those are the plays that we get into the later parts of the season, like today, like the playoffs, that can cost you and will cost you. Stafford misses the foul ball behind the plate. In that at-bat, Hunter right over the head of Hines. 2-2 the count with 2 outs. The pitch is low. Full count again. Nine walks, along with a few hit-by pitches as well against the YD pitching staff. Started with Brady Montgomery, Gavin Bruni, Will Armbruster, and then Landon Beitelshees. The full count pitch to Oyama, swing and a miss on the changeup. O'Hara comes in, He walks Casey, and then he strikes out Oyama. 11-4 after 3 more runs by the Firebirds in the 8th. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Back here on the Birds Broadcast Network, 11-4, the Firebirds are in front. As we go to the bottom of the 8th, and a new pitcher in for the Firebirds, Nate Scott, making his second appearance for Orleans. He last pitched 9 days ago against these Red Sox, pitching 2 innings, allowing 1 run and 2 hits, 2 walks and a strikeout. But Ian, over the past 3 innings, as Scott fires inside to the new batter, Dub Gleed, a pinch hitter, he came in as a defensive replacement. How do we got here? And Ryan Reeses with a lot of good innings out of the bullpen.
Started with a massive strikeout of Hunter Hines for the final out of a 4th with 2 base runners on and a 4-run game.
1-1 the count to Gleed. On the ground to third. Stallman scoops it with ease and makes the throw to first. He makes it look so easy over there on the hot corner.
Reeses made it look easy too. The official final line on him, 3 1/3, scoreless. 3 hits allowed, 3 walks allowed, but 4 strikeouts, including guys on the heart of this order: Hunter Hines, Xander Darby, Braden Montgomery. Retired all of them via the K.
Scott gets out number 1. Up comes Ryan Stafford. First pitch swing, fair ball down the first base line into the right field corner. Stafford touches first. He'll head to second, diving in head first for a double. His 4th hit on the night. Ryan Stafford, a 1-out double here in the 8th.
Ryan Stafford hit over 300 this past season with Cal Poly. Has been one of the best offensive threats in the Big West since he joined the conference 2 years ago. And tonight, single-handedly, is giving this team some life. 7-run game might be a little bit out of reach, but he is hustling for everything.
Scott against now Braden Montgomery from the left side, takes high and away. This game started with Montgomery, not at the plate, but on the mound. Did not have a good start to this game. In the first inning, allowed 3 runs, walked 3 as well. A wild pitch, 2 that allowed a run to score. 1-0 is fouled back. Scott, a really good story. 2 years at Ithaca College, the D3 level, before transferring to Fordham this past spring. Fordham, a program where pitching has been valuable, pitching has been known for. 1-1, pulled foul, first base line. 1 and 2. Stafford will head back to second. And that was a big reason why Nate Scott went there to Fordham, to learn from their pitching lab and try to become a better pitcher after 2 years at the D3 level. This year for him and the rest of the Fordham staff wasn't their best. Everything went wrong. But here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, facing top talent, the 1-2 in the air to center. Eddie King takes a few steps back. He'll make the catch, and the fake tag to third as Stafford heads back to second. And Scott, the man who was at D3 a year ago today, gets out the top transfer portal man in Braden Montgomery.
Cool thing about the Cape Cod Baseball League, you know, yesterday was the last start for Derek Clark here in the Cape Cod Baseball League, former Division II guy from Northwood, transferring to West Virginia for his senior season. He was one of the best pitchers out here on the Cape. Doesn't matter what you look like or where you come from. You can dominate. You're here for a reason.
The first pitch to Hunter Hines is low. All these guys coming from different places. I mean, there is a D3 pitcher on the Whitey roster in Max Banks from Chapman University. And then you talk about some Power 5 guys. It's a combination all here to play baseball and compete at a high level. The 1-0 in there for a strike. And I don't think if you take a G League basketball player and you put him up against a star, or same thing with football or any other sport, that they can have a chance to have some success. 1-1, fouled back by Hines, 1-2.
Well, I think it's tough to compare different sports. I totally get what you're saying. The talent level, you know, in collegiate football compared to NFL football, it's a different beast. You can be a good athlete, doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be a good NFL player. Same thing in the NBA, and same thing at the collegiate level. But here in the sport of baseball, it's individual based. It's you against them, and the mental side's so important.
1-2 pitch. Hines pulls it foul. The lefty against the righty, Scott. 12 hits for the Birds, 11 for YD, but a 7-run difference. 11 for Orleans and 4 for the Red Sox. The 1-2 pitch to Hines on the ground to second. Penny was in the shift. He'll throw it to first for the out. Nate Scott works a clean 8th inning and keeps the score at 11-4 Firebirds as we go to the 9th. We're figuring things out here on the Birds Broadcast Network. A few defensive changes for YD here at Red Wilson Field. We'll get them to you when we can. 11-4, Orleans in front. Top 9, Fenwick Trimble the batter against Connor O'Hara, who fires high. Ian, the pitching, wins out once again. The Firebirds bring 2 arms out of the bullpen that have been great in Ryan Reeses and Nate Scott. 1-0 in there for a strike.
Pretty cool to see somebody in Nate Scott. You told his story from Division III to Division I at Fordham. Get out 2 of the biggest names in the game, in Braden Montgomery and Hunter Hines.
1-1, fouled at the plate.
Theo Hardy is now behind the dish. It's the 3rd different position he's played tonight. Started the night in the infield, then moved to the outfield, and now he's behind the plate.
So Hardy's catching. Stafford's in left. Who's on first? The 1-2. Put a charge into left. Trimble back, and making the catch is Stafford right in front of the track. For out number 1. On first is nobody, but playing first is Hunter Hines. 1 out, up comes Jack Penny after the fly out to left. So Hardy went from shortstop to center, and now he's behind the plate.
I'm surprised you knew the Abbott and Costello bit.
Oh, I've never seen the show or movie or whatever you're talking about. I just know the phrase.
Oh. Well, that's where it comes from.
If you told me where it comes from, couldn't tell you.
Well, I just did.
There you go. Now I know. Abbott and Costello. Jim Abbott?
No.
0-1, swing and a miss. 0-2.
Not Jim Abbott.
Not Brian Costello, the New York Jets reporter?
Wow. What a pull. Also a no.
0-2. Penny goes down swinging against O'Hara for out number 2.
Well, the answer would be Bud Abbott. My father would kill me for not having this instantly. He's shown me this at least 3 or 4 times throughout my life.
Hopefully he's not listening.
Well, I hope he's listening. I'd appreciate if he was listening, but I don't know the first name of Costello.
Ball is low. Hallback takes it for a ball. Hallback's had a really good game. 4 hits for Matt Hallback with an RBI and 3 runs. What a game for the man out of UC San Diego. Takes a strike, 1-1 with 2 outs and nobody on. Firebirds up 11-4. Another big game for the man in front of us who's on deck, Eddie Micheletti. 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, and a walk. And he scored 3 runs. 1-1, strike by O'Hara with the fastball.
By the way, the answer to Costello's first name, Lou.
So Lou Costello and
Bud Abbott.
Bud Abbott. Is that a show? Is it a movie?
One of the greatest comedy shows of all time.
1-2 outside.
Definitely before our time. You know, ran in the mid-1950s. Inspired Jerry Seinfeld to create Seinfeld.
Talking black and white TV?
Yes, 100%.
2-2 is low. 3-2 to Hallback. After the curveball from O'Hara finds some dirt. So black and white TV, wow.
You ever watched any programming black and white?
Some baseball games, black and white.
Like the 1945 World Series.
Oh, 45, 44, 3-2, foul ball. Stays full, the count does, with 2 outs and nobody on. I mean, if we wanted to, we could go through some of my favorite World Series, but I don't want to put our viewers to bed and put Ian to bed, too. It's too early for that.
Well, the sun's about to set. It really is getting late.
We're over 3 hours into this game because of how many runs have been scored. Hallback to right field, but right at the right fielder, Apodaca. For out number 3, Firebirds 3 outs away from closing this one out. Up 11-4, and Nate Scott back to the mound, trying to get win number 24 for Orleans. Bottom of the ninth, Birds up 7 against YD in this pivotal East Division matchup. First pitch to Xander Darby in for a strike from Nate Scott, who pitched a clean 8th inning. And now on for the 9th. Scott's 0-1, a little bit low to Darby, who's 0 for 3 on the night with a walk. What a game for Orleans in the biggest game of the season. Backhand play by Hallback. It goes into right field after a chopper to first. Got away. We'll see what that goes down as on the scorebook. But the runner on first is Darby with nobody out.
Goes down as a hit. YD still without an error today. Both teams with the same amount of hits, 12 apiece. But Orleans with the big hits, taking the big walks, and they lead by 7 because of it.
First pitch to Apodaca is high. 12 runners in 8 innings left on for YD. That's been the name of the game, and Orleans has capitalized. 1-0 is fouled away.
Hard to win a game when you have the same amount of hits as you do base runners stranded. For a YD offense that couldn't get it done last night against Chatham and couldn't put it up tonight against Orleans, a tough time.
The 1-1 to Apodaca is high. Now, Ian, this is not like YD pitched some guys at the back of the bullpen. They started this game with Braden Montgomery, came in with Gavin Bruni, who's also been pretty good for them as well, and also used Landon Beitelshees. 2-1 on the ground into right field for a hit. Trimble will field it and throw it back in. YD rallying here in the 9th, down 7.
Braden Montgomery is a really talented baseball player with great stuff on the mound. Although he hasn't been a lifelong pitcher and maybe pitching hasn't always been his priority, he's got really good stuff. Didn't have control of it tonight. Gavin Bruni was good for 2 innings. He was very good. And then he ran into troubles in the 4th.
Ryan Jackson takes low.
And then Beitelshees, somebody Orleans hasn't seen all summer, but has been tearing it up in the Cape League. They just hit around him.
Check that pinch hitter. Ostrander lines it into right center field, but Eddie King makes a nice catch on the run for out number 1. Deep breath for the Firebirds after 2 runners to start the 9th reach. A line out for Ostrander. And up comes Skylar King, who's had 2 outs to start his day and then 2 bunt singles. One out, 2 on, Birds up 7. If they win this game, they will take over first place in the East by 1 point. Ground ball, step on first, Hallback, no throw to second as diving into the base was Apodaca. But 2 outs recorded here on the 9th as King grounds out to first. Runners move up. Darby to third, Apodaca to second. If they win today, they move up to first place in the East. And Greg Bozzo will take the at-bat out of Northeastern. And tomorrow, if the Firebirds win, they automatically clinch first place in the East Division after the regular season. First pitch swing is Bozzo into shallow right field. Who will get it? Oyama makes the catch. The Firebirds win 11-4 in an East Division battle. 11 runs, 12 hits, and great pitching out of the bullpen leads the Birds for their 24th win on the season. And now Orleans is in first place in the East.
A Yarmouth-Dennis team that has been on top of the East Division all summer long. Almost seemed like it was destiny that this team was going to finish first. But Orleans wouldn't go away. And you know what? Orleans wouldn't go away even after YD took it to him twice in a row last week to take a lead in the season series with 2 dominant wins. But this Firebirds team doesn't know the word quit. To be really cliche, it just doesn't give up. It's a group that's been together all summer long in terms of its position players, and those position players were really good tonight. Whether it was the patience they displayed in the first inning with walk after walk against Brady Montgomery, which led to 3 runs coming across the board, or whether it was the 6 hits in the 4th inning, which led to 5 runs. They showed you a little bit of everything tonight, and against some really good pitchers and against a really good team. The Firebirds, with their most dominant, I would say, win of the year, given the circumstances, you now control your own destiny headed into a matchup tomorrow from Eldridge. A really good matchup. And a really good guy comes over to the broadcast booth. Matt Hallback, we got him quick here on Cooling Down. And Dylan, going to give up the headset so we can talk to Matt. Matt, this was good. And I got to ask, how do you feel after a game where you guys just dominated?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, obviously we knew what was at stake at this game, and we definitely came prepared. I mean, the offense just put on offensive clinic, so it was awesome. It was really fun to be a part of.
What was the difference in the approach in the 1st inning where you guys scored 3 runs and kind of took free passes, and then that 4th inning where everybody was just getting a hit?
Yeah, I mean, the 1st inning we knew what we were gonna do. We knew the pitcher had a good fastball, but he had trouble locating, so we weren't swinging at bad pitches. We were gonna make him command his zone, and we did that really well. And we got 3 runs, and then later in the 4th, honestly, I don't remember. We scored a lot, so I don't remember, but I'm sure we got a lot of hits, and it was all good stuff.
You had one of them, and you had another really good day. How did you allow yourself to continue to do you, even with, as you mentioned in your first answer, the pressure of today's game and the opportunity to overtake first in the East?
Yeah, I mean, Max was telling us the game's only as big as we make it. So, we came in knowing that we were kind of underdogs, and we were just gonna play like it was any other game. And I feel like we handled pressure a lot better than they did.
There was a lot of big names that they brought out there, but you guys just didn't allow that to affect you, whether it was Landon Beidelshe's out of a bullpen or Brady Montgomery to start. What do you think is the most impressive part about this group? Because Yarmouth-Dennis has been in control of this East Division all summer long. They beat you guys twice last week, and those were ugly losses. But this last week, this team has rallied to get to this point. Why?
I mean, I feel like we came really prepared today. We took our pregame really seriously, and we had a good scouting report and a good plan, and it just showed. We know how good we are, and today we just played up to it.
You've been part of some really good summer ball success, whether it was last year with the Wenatchee Apple Sox playing alongside Joe Oyama and Enzo Apodaca with YD, or this summer. What do you think about this team has allowed them to stay so locked in as we are here in August?
Yeah, I mean, I think our team's a lot different than a lot of other teams because we don't want to leave. I know a lot of teams that want to go home and be with their family, and of course we want to do that too. But we're here to win it, and everyone's bought in right now, so we definitely got a good thing going.
I don't want you to leave, but I'm going to let you leave because I know you guys got to celebrate this big win after taking over first in the East. Matt Hallback, thanks so much for joining us here and Cooling Down.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Dylan going to take the headset right back on after talking to Matt. Another really good game for him. Appreciate his time. Appreciate his play because Dylan, he had the first 2 hits of this game. He got things rolling, and then it just kept going.
It just kept going, and it was so interesting because in this game, the Firebirds, they scored 11 runs over only 3 innings. And that was 3 in the first, 5 in the 4th, and then 3 more in the 8th. But they felt like they were consistently getting pressure. Now, YD was doing the same thing, but they couldn't bring runs across. YD left 14 runners on base tonight in 9 innings. And that's just not a winning formula. We saw that with the Firebirds 2 weeks ago where they were doing that. Now they're bringing runners across, and it's paying off in a huge way.
It is in a game where YD out-hit Orleans, and the Red Sox just simply left too many base runners stranded while the Firebirds, Matt Hallback said it, things are good. When an inning is so crazy, you don't even know what happened. Blink and you miss it. 5 runs come across the board. You got to think that inning, the most impressive inning from the Firebirds this summer in terms of just sheer dominance, 1 through 9.
Absolutely. That was the 4th inning where they scored 5 runs. And the offense just kept going. 1 through 9, we talk about it every night. Everyone in the order has an impact, and that's what it was tonight. I mean, you look at the book. You talked to Matt Hallback, 4 hits for him. Eddie Micheletti with a big night tonight in 3 RBIs. Eddie King had a hit and a walk. Everyone up and down the order. Henry Hunter got on base 5 times tonight in all 5 at-bats. 4 walks and an RBI single. So everyone up and down the order got on base tonight, and everyone had an impact. And you got to say another thing, Ian, the defense was really good tonight as well.
Defense was really solid, probably the second night in a row. I mean, you go from last night where the scoring was really low and the defense had to be perfect in order to come out with that 2-1 win against Harwich. And then tonight, you get, again, another must-win if you want to win the East Division. But it's not done, right, Dylan? You're a point ahead now in the East Division over YD. You control your own destiny. But now you play a Chatham A's team that has just started its game against Brewster tonight from Veterans Field and has played spoiler as of late. Eliminated from playoff contention. They've helped Orleans out, but now Orleans has to take them down.
They have to take them down, no question. You can't leave this up in the hands of the Wareham Gatemen, which is where YD goes tomorrow. You got to win. You can't tie. You can't lose. You have to win it. And then if you win, you clinch the East, and you win the East, which means you have home field not only through the first round, but also through the second round of the playoffs, which is really big. It could be the 25th win for the Firebirds, too, in 44 games, which is huge. And you also have to shout out the pitching tonight as well. It started with a guy who made his first start tonight for the Firebirds. His first start in the Cape Cod Baseball League in Jaden Winter. 2 innings for him, 3 hits, only 1 run. Kept it where it was. Mauricio Rodriguez ran into a little bit of trouble, but who put the trouble down? Ryan Reeses. Oh, my goodness. His best outing, probably not only in Orleans this year, but last year, too. 3 1/3, 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks. And then Nate Scott cleans it up. Pitching, the Firebirds have leaned on it all year, and once again, it proves worthy.
It's just such a good bullpen, such a strong group. Cole Cook and Jim Lawler do a fantastic job with whoever has been brought in, the latest addition being Winter. It will be really interesting to see how things not only unfold tomorrow and how Orleans handles the pitching tomorrow in a must-win game, but also handles it in the postseason. What a great result, though. An 11-4 win on the road from Red Wilson Field, the sun setting, and Orleans rising to the challenge, taking down the top team no longer in the East. But before we go, let's chat out our post-game sponsor, that being Mazzio Construction. Mazzio Construction LLC worked hard to build a resume for itself. Let them put their knowledge, experience, and passion together to work for you. Their team is committed to exceed your expectations. New home, addition to existing home, renovation, they handle it all. They work close with their clients to make sure that all their needs are met. They're honest, on time with schedule, and passionate about what they do. Give them a call. Let them introduce you to their work. Let's see how they can help you. Mazzio Construction LLC, the official post-game sponsor of the Firebirds here on Cooling Down.
11-4 the final. We'll wrap it up, but tomorrow you got to tune in. Last game of the season for the Birds in the regular season, and it's a must-win if they want to clinch the East and take advantage of what they have. It's all in their hands. A win, and they're the East Division champions. 6:30 first pitch, 6:15 scorching start right here on the Birds Broadcast Network. We'll see you tomorrow.